played F6. This is the draft. It is complete. Game 1. Which one are you favoring and why?
I'm going to go with Leftovers here. One reason, Wraith is OP. The man shoots you from a mile away. And if you can get a decent start, even get a slight lead, he's going to knock you out of there.
He's got to be careful, though, because the Chimera is definitely going to be hunting him down, along with this raid boss of a monster that is the Sevrog. Without further ado, let's send it to our casting crew. That is going to be HD Philly B and Dr. Oh my gosh, Dr. Shadow. I just blanked out. Dr. Shadow for this grand finals between Leftovers and Dirty Lobber and the boys.
My goodness, Doc, I couldn't be more excited for this one. This is the epic grand finale. After 8 weeks of battling it out, we have our final two, the Leftovers versus DLAB. This is an incredible bout between two titans of this game.
I mean, I'm still stunned at our dog right now, but no, all jokes aside, this is a series that has been 8 weeks in the making. These are two of the teams that have been on everybody's radar to be here. I mean, the Leftovers, no one's really surprised by them based on their performance throughout this entire season, only dropping a series to Team Enlightened. But DLAB, they were kind of looking a little shaky in that mid part of the season, but they've seemed to find their footing in this strategy, playing around Mav, letting Mav control the tempo of their game here. And as we've seen in the last series with Leftovers, like Mercy is the tempo setter for them. So this is really going to be a vigorous battle between the junglers trying to set tempo. But it can't be understated. Everybody on this map is very, very important. I mean, Appy, he popped off in his first semifinal series earlier today. And Bry, he's got something to prove, but hold that, because in dual lane, Jay is blinking after cold.
Oh my gosh, and almost the first blood here in our finals, going away the first Paragon player ever, Mr. J. But Doc, he didn't get the kill, and now his flash is expended, so he's gonna be a little bit vulnerable, moving forward into this match. And like we were talking about, the Leftovers, that new guard, can they be the undisputed champions of Predecessor by winning both PCC and the PPL back-to-back? Or will DLAB, the vanguard, right, the team that we've known for years, who've clawed their way from relegation basically to then win it all? Doc, Bondruid playing the Countess in the offlane, not one we see very often coming out from one of the best offlaners in the world. I know I've been talking to you all week about playing Countess in the offlane can sometimes be a little bit awkward, but maybe against the Sevrog, not too bad. Here we have a hook coming in right into the bomb. The rock just barely misses, and there goes the blink from Mr. Mav. My goodness, contests all over the map already.
Yeah, that's a huge blink there. Mav not having that blink up, but it can't be understated though that Mercy does not have his blink either. So until he's level 6, Mercy's also going to be in danger. But in this offlane, I mean, the way Bondruid's been playing today, Lobber definitely has a high hill to climb. But Appy, he's being hunted here by Bartledew and Bry.
He goes for with the Rip Lash. No, doesn't get any of the hook, and there will be the first blood. Mav claims it the Chimera. He's looking for more. The peekaboo does come out. The subject barely lives. Another blink. Mercy is able to get a little bit of rebuttal onto the mid laner, but there goes the Wraith as well. The 2-for-1 exchange. Maybe make it 3 as he is just bodied into a corner. The ambush finishes him off. This Chimera off to a blistering start here in game number 1.
I mean, so much just happened right there. Twitch chat, you gotta clip that. I mean, there was nowhere he could go. He was stuck between 3 thick boys, just stuck. But overall, very, very favorable game there for the side of DLAB. They're able to pick up those kills onto Bry, onto Mercy, just taking those 2 key players out of this game, at least for 10 seconds there. But the tempo very much in favor of DLAB, and as we were talking about in the beginning, it's off the heels of Mav. Mav is everywhere on this Chimera right now, and he is an absolute monster threat. Though, we got to talk about it. This Wraith in the mid lane, it's going to take him a couple minutes. It's going to, maybe 10 more minutes before we see him really come online, but he really has a favorable matchup into Appy's Howitzer. So I'm going to be watching Bry here in the next 10, 15 minutes to see if this Wraith can get online, or is Mav going to continue just making drop by drop-by jumpings, or I don't even know what to call it, in the mid lane, just constantly trying to shut this Wraith down because they know that that matchup is not favorable.
Doc, and we've talked about it. Bry sometimes more or less just such a solid player, doesn't do anything super flashy or anything out of the ordinary in a lot of games, but on the Wraith, you have to be flashy, you have to be aggressive, you have to hit those shots. So a lot kind of resting on this ADC mid lane that we know as the Wraith. Lobber kind of towing the line here a little bit, playing the subjugate game onto Bondru. Both of these offlaners extremely low.
Bondru does not have a lot of mana right now, so his risk of diving Lobber here is pretty low, but I think he has a combo up. He is gonna, he does Shadow Slip in, he does get the combo with the Blade Siphon, and that is enough to solo bolo Lobber. Meanwhile, in the mid lane though, Bry getting jumped on by Mav.
That's okay. The surprise is active. He goes for a little hop, skip, and a jump, but there is the rest of the team. The reinforcements, they sound. The horn is there, but the blast cone even better. Right onto the Fangtooth. Maybe that sixth member will help him, but Mercy jumps in, maybe into his death. He's being blocked up. The Seismic Assault barely whiffing there. The Void Bomb does connect. Appy, he's putting in the R2000 rockets from downtown. A great contest coming between. Nobody's fallen just yet, and as I say, Appy goes to the wayside, back to the spawn room door as he goes. Mav, he's jumping, he's ambushing, he's going through, but buckshot from Cold connects, takes down a couple. This is just a bloodbath here in the pit. Bry finds a couple of cleanup kills, but all said and done, the dust settles. 2 for each side.
2 for each side, and very surprising here. Lobber on the Sevarog and Bondrewd on the Countess have both made rotations to that objective. It did not originally start out as a Fangtooth fight. It was really a pursuance of Bry off that like fog wall in the mid lane, and it turned into, after the Blast Cone took Mav into the pit, Mercy pursued, and then all the teams just kind of converged in there as if it was a Fangtooth fight. Very chaotic. Both these teams very, very, I guess, kind of hungry to get kills, establish dominance, and work toward these objectives. But we can see here, DLAB, they are on the first Fangtooth, but Leftovers are pretty healthy right now, and they are privy to what's going on.
Yeah, let's see if a contest can come through. I mean, the Fangtooth is being chunked down pretty low. Toasty with the Song of the People, keeping everybody alive. Maybe they're going to elect to go for the mini prime instead. The ambush, the hunt is good there, and the first Fangtooth of the match goes for the side of DLAB. Well done from them. Exit kills potentially. The rock tossed does hit into one, but no follow-up there for Mercy. They're going to let this one slide. Plates getting taken, though, on the opposite lane.
That is a first objective for DLAB, so Leftovers, the timer is kind of ticking for them here. But on the flip side, Bondru did get a tower plate, potentially 2 on that Countess, so there is a chance for them to ramp up and get very, very strong. Yep, there goes the second tower plate there, so that is a very nice injection of gold into his economy, with Lobber now being, what is that? Is that 2 levels down as well on Bondrewd? So yeah, they get the first Fang for DLAB, but you got to be a little worried about this Countess.
Doc, I've been doing the A to Z challenge, as I've been telling you, playing Argus all the way down to the Zinks, and been playing Countess quite a bit. Once she gets to that 3 item mark, she is a force to be reckoned with, can really put the hurting on, and so getting those extra tower plate gold to get to that first item even quicker, plus those levels, that's going to be scary. We know how much pressure Bondrewd can put around the map. What I'm loving to see here, Doc, is Bartledew, how active he's been, just going to each and every lane, just really putting the hurting on, making his presence felt.
Yeah, he's definitely able to do that. Oh, Mav jumping on Bry is going to call him. The Make It Rain does follow up, and that is all the damage they need to just delete Bry from this game. And just like we talked about, Mav, the pressure onto this Wraith. Rampage does connect the boulder onto Lobber, and it might be enough damage here with Countess here. Blade siphoning and hitting those combos, but the Colossal Blow does create the disengage here. Leftovers, they walk away with nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one tickling the toes. The Feast expended from the side of the Countess. I mean, that's one of their mainstays, to do that suppression, right? Get a little of that extra healing too. So that cooldown will be, off the board basically for a couple more seconds. Lobber, he's okay with hitting the Colossal Blow. That cooldown's pretty dang fast. Right now, though, Bondrewd hitting over to the Mini Prime saying hello.
Yeah, Bondrewd's starting it, but I think he has to be privy to the fact that DLAB is just slowly converging 4 people onto that or potentially, yeah, 4 people. 3 in the mid lane near Bri. Bri might be in the most danger, but Bartledew is getting in the way. Crash Bang Boom now has been expended from Toasty. So this mini prime fight is going to be a little more dangerous for DLAB.
Mercy, just the gall on this man. He doesn't even care. He's just running right at him. The peekaboo missed. There goes the pounce. Doesn't get anybody here. The seismic assault barely whiffs as well. Jay now under to rest. He is being unleashed upon. I like this. From the disengage, though, from the side of the Leftovers. They tried to lock somebody down, couldn't get it. They don't want to lose anymore.
Yeah, but during that entire engagement, Cold was not there. So they were actually up a man, and they lost the engagement pretty overwhelmingly. So as a result, they need to go reset. You can see Bondrewd has gone to the offlane tower to secure another tower plate and potentially finish the tower himself. But this first mini prime is going to go the way of DLAB. Who they're going to put it on, though, appears to be Mav. So Mav, the guy who's been setting the tempo, being the monster for DLAB in this game 1 so far, is now going to be a raid boss even harder.
Ooh, Bondrewd timed that to perfection, Doc, because the whole of the team from the side of DLAB was converging upon them. Now they're switching lanes. And look, nobody else is over there, so maybe they help push this one, get another tower plate off the board. But the death ball that is DLAB, the Kraken that is their icon, really in full effect right now, putting the hurting on in each and every lane.
Yeah, DLAB right now definitely kind of pseudo-death balling, which is really surprising considering Narbash doesn't really become that effective until the 20-minute or so mark. But it's working out for them. They are definitively in control. They're 2 objectives up to 0. And they essentially won a 4v5 in that mid lane before that mini prime. They are down, however, economically across the map. They're down a couple plates in that duo lane. They're down an entire tower and the plates in the off lane. I would have actually maybe liked to see Cold take a plate or something in that off lane after applying that pressure from the mini prime, but you know, they're still ahead economically, at least buff-wise, so things are still looking okay for them, but this is still anybody's game. It's just Mercy has fallen behind after all this brawling and all this fighting, so we really need to see him getting some farm, and then getting active with that farm.
Absolutely, the Rampage, one of the linchpins, right? One of the keystones for this squad's going to really have to take a brunt of the damage coming at them, especially from the likes of the Murdoch and the Howitzer right now. The second Fangtooth, though, ladies and gentlemen, is on the board. Those T-bone stakes are ripe for the picking to see which team is going to go for it. Now you see both offlaners converging here. It is going to be a bedlam pandemonium outside of the pit right now. Both teams doing a little janitorial duty, some custodial staff out here cleaning up the wards, getting prepared for this one. The positioning taken, though, first and foremost by the likes of Mercy and Bartledew. The hook comes through, barely whiffs the side of Abby, but he is caught in a rock and a hard place, has to blink out here. Mercy now leading the way, being the tip of the spear, but locked into place is Bartledew, jumped upon. He is going to be taken down as well. Nothing that the old Richter can do as he waddles away. 2 go down here, Doc, for the side of the Leftovers. Can they make it 3? Jay eliminated. Mav just running train, unleashing the fury of axes upon his foes. Cold cleans it up. Disaster here for the Leftovers.
Oh, Bartledew was Bartle dead, and then the fight was over after that. That was just psychotic. I mean, the way Mav was split off from his team, from the rest of DLAB, and was able to get a kill, virtually at full HP at the conclusion of killing Jay. I mean, that's the power of that mini prime buff on that Chimera, who is ahead, who loves to be ahead. We always talk about how Chimeras, they fall behind, and it's really hard to enter the game, but if they get ahead, it's really hard to keep them down and get them back down, or like put them back, because Mav is just spiraling out of absolute control right now. Like, he is DLAB right now.
Absolutely, Doc, and he received a lot of buffs, the Chimera, right? Cleave increased with the 100% cleave action on the Unleash. The Call Ultimate does a ton more damage on the subsequent hits. I mean, so really a force to be reckoned with, Doc. I know you call the Chimera the little race car as he's zooming around the map, doing everything he can. So right now, though, folks, the plates are gone from across the map. So none of that extra gold. Every position is a little bit vulnerable. I would like to see the Hurtin being put on, though. The home run hit from Lawberg connects just to make sure Bondrewd can't get the Cyan buff, but he's going to be jumping in with the Shadow Slip. The Siphon does miss the Subjugate as well. There's the Phantom Rush just to slow Bondrewd up just a bit. But there's the Feast, and Mav, the reinforcements, the trumpet has been sound. Now he is the one turning tail, but the speed boost, the little race car does the call to lock the Countess in place. The Vampiress can't do anything. Mercy there to try to help them out, but it's too late and a little too left off for the leftovers. Mav here, he's sacrificing himself just to get a little bit of extra damage. Everybody jumping in. Mercy now the one under duress. He is just getting beat and body. The buckshot bangs him against the wall. Bry, I couldn't even see him here in this fight, but wow, the whole of DLAB here to help off the offlane.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that overall, that is a very favorable trade. I mean, 3 for 1 in favor of DLAB here, but it can't be understated that Bry, he walked in, he got the last hit, he got the shutdown onto Mav, so that is actually a big gold injection into Bry's pocket here, as well as the fact that this tier 1 in the duo lane has now fallen because of Jay's split pushing. So while in the fountain, Bry actually got a really nice chunk of money and probably is going to be on board here with a nice little mini power spike, I would say. So yeah, he dies, but I don't think he's too upset there. You know, these early game deaths, you don't lose too much in terms of map and economy around and space and vision and all that sort of stuff. So if you're Bry, yeah, he has a full Infernum as well as 2 short swords right now after that engagement. So he's feeling pretty good. I'm trying to be an optimist here, but really, he is feeling good. He got that kill onto Mav. If Mav had not died there, that would have been an absolute disaster for leftovers. But Jay also just adding a little extra sweetness by getting that tower. So tower-wise across the map, though, leftovers are definitively in control across the duo and the off lane.
What I love about this is it is such a cool objective game, right? DLAB, yeah, they've been securing the neutral objectives and the Fang and the Mini Prime, but it's the leftovers who have been getting the true objectives, and that's the towers and the plates across the map. And those are arguably sometimes better because that forces the minions to push onward, get more damage on deeper in, and that allows you to, you know, set waves and take the later objectives down the line. Wow, Mav taking a huge chunk there from the knock. That is just showing that power spike that Bry has received off of that bounty gold. But still, the objective trade, Doc, such an interesting theory between these two mentalities.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to get what you can get, and in this case, the side of leftovers, they lost both Fang Teeth pretty convincingly. So they are looking elsewhere to at least stay in this game, and that's exactly what they need to be doing. I know we always talk about, we always try to theorize what teams need to do to stay in the games when they start falling behind, and leftovers are playing the behind game very, very, very nicely. Like this is something that a lot of players, a lot of spectators, you guys could definitely learn from. Like it's not the end of the world if you lose a couple Fang Teeth. The game is not over till the core explodes. And these teams realize that they've been in these games where it comes down to a 45-minute banger, and it comes down to who makes the first mistake and dies. But Bry, he might be in danger here with Lauber looking in.
Ooh, that was a nice sidestep there to not get the subjugate, but that creates enough space positionally for DLAB now to aggress upon the third Fangtooth, folks, if you can believe it already, of the game. Mercy, once again, trying to be that tip of the spear, trying to be the bodyguard, but one member, it's Von Druid, has to blink out of there. The long arm of the law. Gold, the green beret, snipes him down. The stasis crest from the side of Appy to keep himself alive. He blinks and gets the hell out of there. Locked in place to subjugate as well, I believe. That is Bry, who's locking himself in place now. It's just a total pandemonium here under the tier 1 tower. The Countess ultimately goes down, though, Doc. That is a massive amount of magical damage off the board.
That fight could have been a lot worse, so, I mean, it's not over yet. The rock does connect onto Toasty, but the Riplash does not pull him. If that Riplash connects, this fight easily goes the way of leftovers, but with that, whatever he is, an orc drum basher up, yeah, the orc bard, they are definitely able to sustain that now. Leftovers are blinking and fleeing under their tier 1 here.
Maybe they stayed a little bit too long, and it's Mercy who has to be the sacrificial lamb. He goes down, sliced into sushi. The rest of the team now, they are going back to with their tail between their legs to maybe get a little bit of items on the board. But DLAB now with 3 Fang Teeth, Doc, you can't let that one go. That's, you know, a massive boon to their attack and defense.
Yeah, they now have bonuses to all offense and defense, as well as the bonus move speed from that second Fang, as well as the first Fang, which is the bonus to all buff durations by 50%. So they are just Yeah, towers are nice, but they are feeling very, very strong, and that seems to be the trend throughout this game, is that Leftovers just aren't pumping enough damage. They're not able to just secure these kills, and that problem only gets harder as this game gets longer with the Narbash, with Toasty on that Narbash, sustaining, singing, beating his drums, keeping his team up. I'm a little worried for Leftovers right now just because of those facts alone, but that Tier 1 fight before the Fangtooth looked okay for Leftovers. Yes, they lost Bondrewd, but they sustained pretty nicely under that tower.
Doc, and I'm going to be looking at Bry. We've seen what this Wraith can do as you see him doing the rewind there. The call does connect on the 3, the Seismic Assault as well. There is the Rampage going with the Behemoth mode. And Cold, once again, the long arm of the law takes down Bry and puts Jay on the back foot. That's one name we haven't really talked about. He does find himself on the kill feed here. The rest of the team, though, running for their lives, jumping, but the full might, the full health bars of the opposite side. The nice boot there to knock Mercy into the wall. Toasty, he's going to dive under this tower. He doesn't even care. The thunk does come through the buckshot as well. Cold with another, I believe that's a double kill. He is on a roll.
Cold wasn't even in the fight for the first kill. That was just the long arm of the law. But really, I mean, there's so many just fantastic plays to call out in that engagement. But the one I want to shout out, because, you know, support players don't often get the spotlight, but Toasty, with the 4-man crash bang boom around the corner there, he knocked up almost the entirety of the Leftovers, rendering them unable to play the game in that tight space, paired with all of the other commotion that was going on, paired with the long arm of the law, paired with the damage being pumped out by Appy on the howitzer, as well as Mav just never dying. I mean, that was just a great play from Toasty there, setting it up, lining it up for his team, and really being patient, knowing that all the possible ways to cancel his ability were off, either on cooldown or not in range of him, and the way he played the wall was just exquisite.
Yeah, and it was set up by the call of Mav, right? Locking down so many members, and then they couldn't run out of the crash bang boom, and then up they go, and down they went. Doc, you know, I normally ask you, who's got the team fight in this one, but I feel like, and I think the crowd feels like, it has to be DLAB.
Yeah, I mean, DLAB technically, but neither team really has quote-unquote traditional team fight. But Bondrewd here, he does get jumped on. He gets ambushed, called, subjugated, and just blasted into oblivion. Lauber does get the last hit, though. The kill does not go the way of Cold, but hey, it's another kill for DLAB, and that's another green light to walk toward the Orb Prime. The big boy is alive right now, and they are using this opportunity to do this.
Doc, we were talking about, is the Countess even really good right now anymore? As it looks like Toasty, he just got a Seismic Assault to the face as well, but he is staying alive in the back line, and he's letting the big boys take now the brunt of the damage. Lauber and Mav. Lauber had 3 items online, Doc. I saw a lot of the Tainted, another Riplash in, but it was just a sacrifice because Bartle is Bartle dead. Now they will move to the Prime again, Doc. It was all just a bait and switch previously.
Yeah, I mean, they are very, very far ahead right now with the 3 Fangs. It feels like Jay is just tickling them with the Seismic Assaults. And this may be the detriment to the Bellica ADC. You fall behind, and your auto attacks just aren't doing that much, and your spells aren't doing that much. And Bry is just he's getting rained on, and so is Mercy. Mercy's trying to eat it. He tries to boulder to get away, and it's not enough. He also goes down to Appy, and all these attempts to start the Orb Prime are met with attempts to interact with it from the Leftovers, and DLAB just says, okay, we'll just run at you. We're very far ahead right now with our bonuses, with the Fang Teeth. They are now looking to finally get the Orb Prime after winning like 3 consecutive team fights in a row at this pit. And DLAB definitively in control of this game right now.
Doc, and it's all the back of the Bard, Toasty, and the Narbash. They can take fight after fight because they don't need to retreat. They don't need to heal because the Bard is doing it. He's helping everybody. So they're fine with taking fight after fight. Cold with the Noxian Quiver getting a lot of lifesteal as well. That will keep him in it. I mean, right now, Doc, you said it perfectly. They are firmly in control, in the driver's seat. It's going to be them to have a massive blunder to give this one up. They're going to be looking now for the 4th Fang Tooth of the match that will have the Primordial Blaze upon it. They're probably going to go for the Jugular after that.
And with the Orb Prime, they're also going to be able to reclaim some of the land that was taken from them across the map, right? We talked about how Leftovers did claim those early towers, but with this Orb Prime buff, DLAB's definitely going to be able to take a couple towers. The call dropped on the Mercy, the ambush to chase. Well, Mercy should just be able to walk away from here. He does have Jay lay in some suppressive fire, but as you mentioned, this fourth Fang of the game is up, this Primal Blaze. Lobber in the mid lane, getting collapsed on by Brian Bondrewd here. Might not be the right target.
Mercy forced to blink, of all things. He just hasn't found his way in here. He has to use the behemoth mode to do a pounce, but he pounced upon as Mav is chasing him down. Lobber with the blink and the hammer to the face, crushes the skull of Bry. The mid laner can't get anything done, can't find his footing here. DLAB, they're not scared whatsoever. They're running anywhere on this map.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason DLAB is called Dirty Lobber and the boys, and Lobber just 1v2'd Bondrewd and Brian, killed one of them, and isn't even at half HP. Mercy, however, in the jungle here, is getting ambushed and just blasted down by Cold. Just so much damage, so much control. He's not able to go anywhere. Bondrewd, he gets rained on, he gets sent back to base. Bartleby, though, hits out with Whiplash here. Will Jay be able to kill him?
I don't think so, but on the other end, Cold is able to find one, the long arm of the law. Appy, he is chuckling all the way to the Primal Pit. 4 down for the side of Leftovers. Doc, they are just bleeding kill after kill. They can't stabilize here in game number 1.
They are not succeeding in stabilizing this game right now, and it feels very, very difficult. I think part of the issue is potentially the fact that you have 2 ADCs on your team, so controlling these lanes, controlling the fights is a little bit more difficult. Double ADC comps work if one of the ADCs gets ahead, but in this game, neither of the ADCs really got ahead, unfortunately. So things have been very, very rough. I mean, we saw Countess and Bry on the Wraith fighting Lobber, and Lobber, yeah, he's known for the Sevarog, right? Like he was playing Sevarog when Sevarog was nerfed into the ground. So now Sevarog in a very good place right now. Like he is putting on a clinic for us right now, just being that raid boss. Off the back of Mav's original raid boss status. And as a result of this Orb Prime and now the Primal Fang, we're going to see 2 inhibitors fall and potentially the game.
This is a dire situation for the side of Leftovers, but folks, this is a best of 5, so plenty of game left in the tank, even if the Leftovers fall in this one. The long arm of the law cuts through the map, but doesn't take anybody down this time. Full retreat here, but Bartleby, he gets subjugated and sent to prison. Bye-bye, Warden. Now the alarm sounds are blaring here for the Leftovers. They're checking the fridge and not seeing anything. Another subjugate, and the Colossal blow onto 2, right to the waiting arms of Cole. He puts in a nice buckshot there, and down goes Jay. The Crystal totally vulnerable here. They're going to wait for the creeps, though, however, Doc, just to get a little bit of that reinforcement. Those creeps are going to be doing a ton of damage. The final desperate defense for the side of Leftovers. I don't think they have anything in the tank, and there goes game number 1. DLAB run it all the way home.
I mean, DLAB showing the power of this Murdoch. You can put the Murdoch on the other side of the map, and he's still going to participate in the game. Toasty on that Narbash. I mean, Appy just doing mid lane mage things, pumping damage, just hitting people. But Mav setting the tempo for the boys to have the game, the best possible game 1 that DLAB could have hoped for. I'm really curious to see what Leftovers does to address this jungle tempo difference that happened in this game.
Absolutely, and Doc, and I think Leftovers maybe started with this composition with, it's untraditional, right? In terms of seeing like Bellica ADC and Countess in the offlane is still new and things like that. So maybe they go back to something a little bit more regular in game number 2 to kind of get their feet back under them, but only time will tell. To break it all down for us, though, we send it back to our dog and 6.
Welcome back to the desk. Thank you, Shadow and Philly. Unfortunately, it's just a one-woman show for now as we figure out some technical difficulties. So let me just fill in this time frame right here. You're watching the best of 5 grand finals with DLAB, just able to secure game number 1, and the score is currently 1-0. We're talking about the grand finals, so it is a best of 5. Both of these teams, the casting desk was talking about it, they have just been active right from the get-go. Like, I don't know how you guys aren't out of breath. It's just been this non-stop bloodbath since minute 2. Mav, along with Lobber, they were just rotating, especially when it comes to objectives. But it wasn't just them, it was Appy's damage from mid lane, Toasty's rotation and his sustain as well as his heals, and of course Cold's damage and DPS. And not to mention the fact that he is piloting the Murdoch, so he is able to just make an impact from anywhere on the map. So all in all, phenomenal job by the DLAB team to really work together to take down this Leftovers team. They're saying that this is how they want the game to go, and this is how it needs to be played. But we talked about this earlier. You know, what should be the answer to this aggression of Mercy's jungle? Is that maybe you just need a jungler that needs to be able to do more, because that is certainly something that Enlightened needed to take note of and perhaps do when it comes to their semifinals up against the Leftover team. But of course, you're looking at the draft. They took out the Aurora, they took out the Terra. Those guys weren't allowed, and they thought that maybe, hey, the Rampage worked for us in game number 2 against Enlightened, and that's what they did, right? But when it comes to what does Leftovers need to do to stay relevant as we head into this game number 2, I gotta ask a chat here as we fill in this time. What does Leftovers need to do in order for them to secure game number 2 and make sure that they are here to stay? So Cruel is saying that Doc is overtuned. He's an elo inflated champ. And someone says they don't understand why Kira isn't played. They think that she's way too OP, just really bad clear. The thing is, we haven't really seen a lot of Kira when it comes to these competitive plays. It's just been either Wraith, we've seen a lot of Murdoch, we've seen a lot of Belica ADC, right? Traditionally, Belica isn't this hero that we expect in the ADC role, right? But yet again, chat, absolutely insane plays from both sides. We just cannot hype these teams yet enough. They made it through so far through 8 weeks of challenges, from qualifiers to relegations, and now we're here in the Grand Finals. It's been a ceaseless battle between these two. And of course, this is a game, best of 5, right? Grand Finals, and we still have a game number 2 to play. But before we get there, we're gonna take a quick little break.
Everybody's talking at me, and maybe I should turn it off. Shelter, I know that I've been waiting for some shelter in my heart. I can't control the words I've been saying, filter me out, my mind is just playing. Heart is running wild, got me talking like a child. Fire in my soul, I know I'm just faded. Lifting me up, I know I won't take it. Sparks are running wild, yeah. Got me starting up a riot, I'm bringing that fire. I'm gonna go wild, till I get higher. Got me starting up a riot, till we backfire. Going wild, so I'm always getting higher. These scars can't turn your face. My pain becomes adrenaline. Oh, my wounds got the lies in my face. Oh, this world is not enough for me. At the end of it all, they'll stand on top. Blood and sweat made my wall. Won't crumble down, won't stop. My heart is my own ark. The vessel holding my will to stand and fight. These scars can't turn your face. My pain becomes adrenaline. Oh, my wounds got the lies in my face. Oh, this world is not enough for me. These grounds you are standing on, you don't know how it hurts. You don't know.
Welcome back to the desk here at the PPL. My name is Ardog with the Triple G's, and I'm joined here now by none other than Tang. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Obviously, sad that F6 is not here anymore, but I think Leftovers, they DM'd me. They're like, F6, he cast the casters a bit too much, so now I have to hop in and, yeah, hopefully give Leftovers another chance now that F6 is not here anymore.
Thank you for being here, Tang. Just unfortunate, there was a technical difficulty from F6's end. Just a reminder to chat, you're watching a best of 5 grand finals with DLAB currently 1-0 against the Leftovers. We talked about potential strategies and keys to victory for Leftovers, and chat gave me nothing. So I have to ask you, Tang, what does Leftovers need to do to secure game number 2?
I mean, that's hard to say, honestly. Like, they already picked their counters and that didn't work. Like, what is the next thing? But no, I mean, like, this entire meta has been defined by just having good objective control. I think it's about cleaning up the play around those early objectives and then just not giving over necessary kills, right? Like, every kill that you give over just causes the snowball to sort of stop and go in the other direction. Because at the moment, comeback XP is really strong, so is global XP. So if you get those earlier objectives, it's really imperative that you don't give away that lead anymore.
With that being said, let's just jump right into this draft. Game number 2, Tang. Leftovers, they've got the first pick and ban yet again. Do you want something different? I don't think we're going to get anything different. We've seen a lot of Gideon bans today, and this just not going to change, right?
I mean, Gideon is a pain to play into. I think that is honestly the main thing, because I don't even think like he would be like super broken or anything. I just think that like junglers don't want to play against Gideon, and Leftovers show us once again get the Gideon ban in. Mercy does not want to have something in the mid lane that he can't gank.
And the thing is, you can't follow the Gideon anymore through his portal, which is something that they changed in 1.4. So you're right. This is something that the junglers are really struggling when it comes to ganking this mid laner. And Leftovers, they're recognizing the value in this hero, so they're taking him off the board.
Yeah, definitely. On the other side, we do have the Aurora banned away. We did hear it on the broadcast before by Spooky, I believe. Actually, it was yesterday, but like the best form of CC is the wall, at least in his opinion. But I think it's pretty close to the reality, right? You can't blink through it. It's such a big area of denial zoning tool, and with the sort of caliber of players that we have in the PPL, I think all of them are just so good at using it. Now we see the rest of the bans coming in as well. The Muriel, the Goddess of Life, being banned away as well. I don't think we've seen her go through either. And the Grux on the other side was a really solid pick in 1.4 with that super long pull range that Ace was actually mentioning at the beginning of the PPL if you were here already. Now the Narbash being locked in as the first pick for Leftovers.
That first pick, they know what Toasty was able to do. Yes, there was at one point where he was just tanking tower shots, and it just didn't even matter because the sustain and the heals from this hero, he was just able to provide so much for his team. Dirty LAB and the boys, they are responding with the Murdoch and the Bellica.
Oh, that's Bellica. We did see her dish out so much damage in the support role. Can obviously still go in the mid lane as well. But we did see a full damage Bellica beforehand, and she was on fire. On the other side, for Leftovers, we do have the Fae. So a lot of mid priority potentially coming in. And we know Bri is really solid on the Fae.
One thing to note too is that we know for a fact this Bellica is not going to be in the ADC role. But Leftovers, they are piloting the Fae over in the mid lane along with the Sevarog. Usually this is in the Lobber's hands, right? He's known as one of the players who is just so exceptionally good at playing Sevarog, but it's not going to be played by him.
Yeah, it's gonna be taken away. Can go into jungle or into the offlane. Might just really be sort of a denial pick by the side of Leftovers. If you go a tanky offlane, it's generally really good into AP because there's a lot of good early AP itemization for any of those tanks. So if Leftovers still has it in their mind that they could go for something like a Countess that is being banned away by Dirty LAB and the boys, good heads up ban. But if they want to go anything AP, then picking the Sevarog and denying it away from Dirty LAB could be important. Chimera being banned away by Leftovers.
They knew what Mav was able to do. He was so aggressive with Chimera. But going back to this, I thought that Bellica was going to be in the mid, but it's actually going to be the Howie in the mid lane. And Toasty, yet again, I think he's going to be piloting this ADC Bellica and support this time around.
Yeah, I mean, ADC Bellica, support Bellica, doesn't matter. We build damage regardless. On the other side, the Quang into Saras most likely. So it might also be Sevarog and Quang. Both of them can go each side. I think the Quang versus Saras matchup in the offlane, we've seen a lot of that beforehand though in the PPL. Now Skylar is going to round out their composition. It's going to go obviously into the ADC role. So that one I can say for sure. That leaves Dirty LAB and the boys with the last pick of the draft. We did see the Boris being placed into the offlane beforehand by Morose, but honestly it didn't look too good. I think Dirty LAB and the boys would really love to see it being piloted in the jungle by Math.
Ooh, I like this. Boris and as well as the Zarist. We know that either the offlaner or the jungler can play this. But, the draft is now complete, Tang. Which team are you favoring and why?
I mean, just looking at it, Leftovers team look really solid. Having the Narvish and the Sevarog together with the Fae, I think you just have a really solid front-to-back sort of team fighting comp. You just can't get caught out. I think that is what Dirty LAB and the boys are really strong at, right? The Boris with the catch-out potential, with that Ursa and Burst as well, knocking somebody into the team, and then also, having the Howie Boop, having the Bellica knock-up as well. So I think if Leftovers can stick together in those team fights, I think they have a really easy way to play out these fights. But for Dirty LAB and the boys, if they can abuse some pockets of vision, I think they have a very solid sort of team comp to find those picks.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is game 2 of the grand finals between Leftovers and Dirty LAB and the boys. Please go ahead and cast your votes. Cheer on for your favorite team. We're sending it over to Dr. Shadow and HD Philly B.
Thank you, Desk, and we are immediately right into it. Doc, I've noticed a couple times that the DLAB have gone right for this 5 camp instead of the red buff first and kind of helped the clear for Mav. So he gets a little bit of extra experience online and then can go for the red buff a little bit faster. So an interesting piece of tech there. Boris, Doc, I saw the chat saying like there's a lot of CC on the other side. It's going to be hard for the Bear to navigate some of these team fights. But I think what DLAB wants is that objective take and that just pace in the jungle.
Yeah, this Boris is definitely very similar to like a mixture of Chimera and Crunch, right? Like he has that capability very early on to solo objectives, so if he so chooses. But in terms of the way he plays team fights, he needs to be able to find, isolate, and destroy singular targets in that back line. Very similar to what a Crunch, I guess also a Chimera like to do. In the mid lane though, Rye poking Appy and Bride just fighting it out like they always do. I mean, I'm expecting a bloodbath this game. There's just so much to talk about, so much to get into, and I'm just going to flat out say it. I love Leftovers draft, or what they've drafted this game compared to last game, and you always ask me, best team fight goes to Leftovers. We see an invade here that might go Ari here.
Uh-oh, the Primal Roar is there, and it's forcing Rye to make a jump, and it's forcing the Sephiroth to make a jump as well. That's Mercy, both of those players. Oh my gosh, there's a massive cooldown's gone already, Doc. The invade, it pays dividends.
Yeah, that is a very successful invade. I did not see who actually got the blue buff. I assume it was Mav on the Boris. But not only do they deny farm from the side of Leftovers, but they also drag 2 blinks out, almost securing a first blood for themselves. So that is a huge chain of events here for the side of DLAB. Great start given the lineup that they're playing into. Cold though, getting laser beamed here by Jay, hiding around the corner, but Bartleby finds him.
Uh-oh, he's body blocking him nicely. Has to use the blink to get around him. One more shot, and it's Jay. Takes down his opposite number. A little bit of revenge from game number 1. Cold goes down. What a fight there, Doc, in the duo lane. It was perfect engagement. As soon as the Seismic Assault went out, they knew there was nothing left to stop them. The Thunk went through. The Hypercharge went through. Dunzo was cold. First blood, Leftovers.
And not only did they get first blood, but they got his blink too. He blinked into the wall. Meanwhile, Mav on the Boris, under duress here from Mercy and Bondrude, applying a little pressure here. Lobber's pretty low, not going to be able to do too much, but let's see how this pans out.
The detection protocol, though, from Mav allows him to get in. The Feral swipes as well. Mercy hacked and slashed Lobber. The Spear of Near is clean and good. Skewers the Phantom. Still, a contest is over in the offlane. Bondrude expending all of his mana. He can't even fight, even though he has a good amount of HP. Mav controlling the situation. Doc takes the Sign Hand buff.
I mean, I underestimated. I have a feeling Leftovers underestimated the damage that was going to come out from that Boris, who was only level 3 during that engagement. But that was a fantastic exchange there. I mean, they're able to get a kill on the Mercy. They slow his tempo, and as you know, Sevarogs hate losing tempo. Toasty, though, is going to whiff the Seismic Assault there on Bartledew while he just speed boosts and runs away. And Mav and Appy already looking at this first Fang of the game at 4.5 minutes in. As we talked about, this Boris, he's like a mini Chimera Junior, but also kind of big. He's looking to just do this objective with the help of Cold shooting over the wall here. Toasty, are Leftovers to be able to do anything about this? Mercy's only level 3.
Yeah, so they're posturing now. The Void Drone does come through. The Subjugate as well to lock a couple people in. The hunt has to be executed to perfection. Mercy just gets deleted. Just can't find their way in. There's the hunt. There's the Fangtooth. They get a kill themselves. Doc, every time we talk about this, Mercy on the Sevarog. If you just cut his feet out from under him, take his camps, get him on the back foot, he can't do anything. 2 kills early on already.
Yeah, that's not a great start if you are a Leftovers fan. That is not the start you want for Mercy on his Sevarog. He is only level 3. Meanwhile, this offlaner over here is level 5 and level 6. Like, he's just very, very, very starved right now for money and experience and life and existence. I don't know if challenging that Fangtooth was the right call for him because he is so far behind. I think the rest of his team definitely could have looked for exit kills there, but he needed to just be prioritizing getting level 4. He was looking, he got stuck in that corner, kind of looking, trying to find a way in to get the steal with the hunt, but unfortunately, DLAB, they are not noobs to this game, and they stopped hitting the objective and they started hitting the level 3 Sevarog. So it really is that easy sometimes if you're all on comms, which is why voice chat is great. But yeah, he is going to have a hard time finding his way back into this game. He's really going to have to be disciplined, and the rest of his team is going to have to realize that he is behind and play accordingly. Like, they cannot rely on him for the next couple minutes as he tries to find his footing so that he can try to walk, run, or jog into that mid lane.
Yeah, Doc, And we talked about this in game number 1, it's that jungle tempo is really going to be indicative of terms of how these teams play and how they excel in this series. And right now, Mav, firmly in game 1, fine. Game 2, doing almost even better. And maybe the Sevarog not the right pick to keep track of that tempo. So we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, they can scale into the late game, the Leftovers team, like you were talking about, Doc. You really love that composition. But a character I love even more is the Zarus, one of my favorite players in the game, getting a massive buff next week. So definitely, I think we'll see a lot more of him. But right now, I'm looking for him to get active. The Coliseum is online.
Yeah, I mean, Lauber has been playing out of his mind. So I think on this Zarus, we did see Bondru earlier on the Zarus really just absolutely cooking. So Lauber, definitely a player of that equal caliber, able to put on a show. It comes down to tempo, right? So if he's able to start getting the first couple stacks, which might be starting now, the Coliseum is dropped.
It is dropped, and the detection protocol is out. The Feral Swipes is in the roar as well, and he just gets, oh my, gobbled up the long arm of the law. We expect nothing less. Cold snipes him across the map. A good team kill here for the side of DLAB.
I mean, that felt like a deja vu from a game earlier. I think that was from the semifinals game earlier with the Leftovers, where Bondru was playing Zarus. The same exact thing happened. The first Coliseum of the game was dropped, and the carry from across the map, the Murdoch, gets the long arm of the law kill, putting him on the map, putting him on the game. And DLAB, though, doing something different. They have brought Toasty and Cold over to that mini prime to secure it. They're putting it on the Mav. He is level 6. But I got to point out, Mercy, he has found his footing a little bit. He is level 6 as well. He's no longer just super, super far behind. So I'm not as worried, but things are going really nicely for DLAB. They have 2 objectives up to 0, and they are 3-1 on the board here. So the economy is looking great for them into this early mid-game.
Yeah, Doc, and I'm looking across the map here at the tower plates as well, which we'll have to get to in a minute as the Bramble Patch does come through. The lane swap here, ladies and gentlemen. We have Cold and Toasty kind of manning the mid lane, and then we had Appy go over to the dual lane for just a second to clear the wave. All the while, though, Doc, Jay, he's been on his lonesome, getting experience, getting gold, putting pressure on. They're really trying to put a lot on the carry shoulders.
Yeah, and if there's a carry player who can do it, it's Jay. I mean, Jay paired with his Bartle Bash, peanut butter and jelly. But on the other side of DLAB, you've got, I mean, peanut butter and Nutella, right? I mean, you've got just a squad. Jay, though, the detection protocol does scare him away. He is forced to blink here. Appy, though, Appy's going to be looking to kind of start moving toward that Fangtooth bit, with Fangtooth spawning in the next couple seconds. I think about 20 seconds or so. And we do see the offlaners as well are joining the fray. So this is going to be our first full-fledged bloodbath here, breaking out around the second Fang of the game.
These are my favorite moments in all of Predecessor. The pride of Predecessor is on the line here in this Grand Finals tournament. Doc, they said it couldn't be done to have a full season of Predecessor, and we are proving the haters wrong. $1,500 grand prize on the board here. These folks are going to be duking it out with all that they can. Right now, DLAB in a good position to start the Fangtooth, but they're looking for a kill first before they get it done. A pincer maneuver coming out from the side of Leftovers. And thank you, TDM, for such a great angle. The Coliseum dropped on Mercy's head. He has to Phantom Brush and blink out of it. There goes a ton of HP off the board, but it's Mav who's struggling to find his way into this one. He's the first to go down. The Judgment of the Heavens takes him to hell, and there is an Untamed Growth as well. Finally, the Leftovers, it seems like the first team fight they've won at this series, Doc. A clean 2 for 9.
Mercy gets 10 stacks off that kill onto Mav as well. Mercy is still in the game. He just cannot fall. He has to sit behind his team. They branch off. Bondru chasing Appy.
And the Surge of the Heavens clean from the Kwong, and they get an exit kill even though they're the ones in the pit. The Fangtooth now being burned, and the second one will go the way. Bri doing Bri things. A nice little stinging nettle forces Cold to take a nap. Toasty has to blink as well to get out of there. A great exchange here for the Leftovers. Exactly what they need.
That was the dream fight for Leftovers, for the fans of the Leftovers. Like, that was an incredible engagement for them, all off the back of the Coliseum actually coming out from the side of DLAB, dropped onto Mercy. They know that Mercy has been hurting in this early game, and they tried to just further pour more salt into his wound. And he Phantom Dashed, he blinked away, he waited around the corner patiently, just waited for that crash bang boom from Bartle Bash, and he was able to get a 10 stacker there, getting the kill on the map there, and he is very much in this game now. If you are a Leftovers fan, you are feeling pretty good after that engagement, because Mercy is back in the game, baby.
Hell yeah, and this is what we've loved to see, Doc. This is a best of 5, so chances it goes the distance is high. I know Kazoo was putting some odds in the chat here for both of these squads, but still, you feel, Doc, that it's on the knife's edge. Not a lot of plates going down, not a lot of tower damage here. Only 3 to 5 in the kill feed and 1 to 1 in terms of Fang Teeth. It's still anybody's game. You can't make a mistake now. You have to stay focused.
Yeah, with the second mini prime spawning very soon and with the tower plating down now at the 12-minute mark, that is when we're going to start to see this map open up. Whoever wins that mini prime engagement and utilizes that buff to cleanse the map of towers is going to take a definitive lead into this mid-game. So we're going to be, I'm definitely going to be watching for a fight here. You can see the wards from both teams already preparing around that area. You can see Leftovers have deep wards. They're looking for entrances into the prime pit. And you can see DLAB has a ward on the prime pit itself. Meanwhile, though, in the duo lane, people are just kind of chilling. But it looks like Jay and Bartle do. They're already walking their way over here because they recognize how important this is.
Yeah, you want that positional advantage in the pit. Yeah, there's some detriment, right? Because you're kind of locked into the arena, but you know that you have the objective. You can control it. You can kind of see where your enemy is coming at you. And that is something the Boris, at least that I find, Doc, is really hard to find his footing in some of these team fight engagements because he wants to just pick out a member. So you can see Mav toggling, where am I going to go? Lobber, a giant leap, a colossal blow to counter it. There goes the Coliseum. No entertainment here for you folks except for the Boris being skinned alive. Mercy with a kill there. He is hacking away with the hammer. Appy goes for a desperation, make it rain, but Jay, the shot's too clean, takes him down. A tether there, forces a blink out. I believe a fly trap expended there to try to lock down the gladiatorial lizard, but here is the subjugate to keep him locked in place. Mercy, the big baddie, he's trying to find him in his Bond Druid, strikes him with the lightning of the heavens. Toasty not long for this rope either, running him down here is the Leftovers. They're feeling good now.
Leftovers are feeling themselves in these fights, and it feels like DLAB is a little bit disjointed in how they're approaching these engagements to exactly the point you were talking about. With the Boris, it feels very challenging for them to have that engage that they're looking for, to create an opportunity for the Zarus, for Lobber, to get a really good Coliseum. Instead, they're relying on Lobber's Coliseums, and it's so easy for Mercy to just look at him and go, bing, and hit him out of the park with his Colossal Hammer, right? It's just so easy. So there has to be some other form of engagement here instead of the Coliseum, because they are just going in one by one and dying. And to the credit, I got to shout out here on the side of Leftovers, the Quang just landing all of the tethers. I don't think he missed a single tether out of the 4 that I saw. I mean, he is just cooking. Bondrood is on a different level today, but in the mid lane, Bry is dangerous.
Yep, and he couldn't even cast that one, but a huge colossal blow puts him in the tower. Lobber has to use the dash out and the blink, I believe, from Mav. The Feral Swipes as well. 2 good escape tools, but Lobber, he is likely to go down, and there it is. Mercy comes up with another kill. Toasty extremely low as well, has to find a good positioning. A buckshot there, I believe, from Cold from the top ropes there. Staves off the advance just for now, but the rest of the Leftovers are here, and with the Bartle Bash, you're getting keeping everybody alive. They're looking to siege this tier 1 tower to make room for that 3rd Fang.
Bondrood is here to land some tethers. Mercy survived. Cold was not able to hit a long arm of the law. He has not fired it yet, but Mercy was able to juke, jive, and regen just enough to not draw that ability out yet. But on the back of their mind, though, they have to be wary of it. But we do see Leftovers here. They are starting the 3rd Fang of the game on the back of Mercy with that mini prime buff.
And that's just forcing the DLAB to be in an awkward position. You see that Abby has to expend these stasis. I believe the Link is, the Blink as well. He has the Make It Rain, but he can't find any targets. Lobber finally goes in with the Coliseum, knowing that the Colossal Blow online is not alive, but in this tight corner, Doc, you cannot fight. And so 2 ultimates expended for the side of DLAB and nothing to show for it. They do not have the health bars or the advantage to contest this Fangtooth.
Leftovers, they are looking to just burn this objective. Long arm of the law looking to steal it. It's not enough to Mav. He jumps in. They are able to steal it.
Oh, the bear, he gets sacrificed, but he gets the steal. The second Fangtooth goes away of the Krakens. Still the fight, though, commenced. 2 goes down. There is the little hamster in his mech. The subjugate barely lifts. Toasty says, here, take a load of that. But he doesn't have enough damage. He does go down, but Lauber somehow finds his way in the back line. The Spear of Nier takes down the Skylar in the sky. Lauber, though, he's looking for more. Maybe a tasty orc is on the menu. He does find 2, though. Here's Lauber, but not enough health to continue the fight, and it's a stinging nettle. Ooh, pings him in the chest. Down goes the gladiator. It is just kill after kill, frag after frag here after Fang number 3.
And Mercy does fall at the very end of it after breaking Toasty's legs and just out-sustaining the damage from the support Bellica. He starts backing in between the blue buff and the Fangtooth pit. Cold comes around the wall and finds this lowly 1 HP Mercy Severog just sitting there and just blasts him into oblivion. If Mercy had just kept running, I think he would have been okay. But, DLAB, they kind of come out on top. I mean, mostly come out on top there because they get the steal on the objective. The well-timed blink into the AoE Fear, securing the timing for Mav on the Boris to get the hunt off onto the objective. And then it was just kind of like a bloodbath in 3 separate locations there afterwards. I mean, it was literally 3 different fights, so very difficult to keep track of who was fighting who and who was hitting who and how people were dying. But overall, the objectives are now going the way of DLAB. They're up 2 Fang to 1. And that means the 4th Fang of the game is going to be very, very
Yeah, gotta give a kudos, as you mentioned, Doc, to Tedium, our eye in the sky here throughout our PPL tournaments, and then Ego, our producer as well, and tournament organizer, constantly shout out as we have them. Thank you, Ego, on a timely intervention, puts up the rosters for both of the squads. But Doc, I've been playing a lot of Boris myself here, going from the A to Z challenge, and you want to be the first on those objectives, but when you're playing a 5v5 game, it's different when you're all on comms. You know that there's a flow chart to go from one place to the next place, so you can't really sneak those objectives like Boris wants to do. So it's really hard for him to find that advantage that is kind of built into him. We see the mini prime now has just been summoned. Boris sniffing him out.
Boris is great for getting into the pit at a last second to create chaos, to get a steal. That fear is nothing to be scoffed at. I mean, it is a very, very impactful ability. And as we saw there, it feared 3 or 4 people, including the person who didn't want to be feared, and that was Mercy, allowing that opportunity to hunt. So I think it's ideal for a Boris to be in the pit first, to play from the back of the pit, but Mav, he's making it work with what he's got right now. He did have to expend a blink, though. Lauber, job at the Coliseum.
Oh, it locks 3 people in, and where is Mercy for the kill? But it is Mav who gets onto Bry. That was the target, and he does go down. The Make It Rain expended. Bry, Jay rather, takes down Mav, so he sacrifices himself. The plasma grenade, the shield to come through to block the damage, but the extra little rocket from the aerial assault takes down the gladiator once more. Appy, he's running for his life. How fast can this mech scurry away? Seems like the hamster can run fast enough. 2 go down for DLAB after that engagement, Doc.
Yeah, after that engagement, though, Leftovers are looking to get the 3rd mini prime of the game before it despawns here in 15 seconds. If they can do it, this is going to be really close with the knockdown. They don't get it! They don't. 534 HP, they don't get it. Appy comes in, he's trying to contest. Bondru peels off. Jay locking him down, shooting him with the laser beam, and they lose 2 more to contest an objective that no longer exists. What a disaster!
Oh, you hate to see it, folks. I feel like the hunt wasn't online, but now they're like, okay, we'll take the big baddie down instead, knowing they got some of those exit kills. However, the Boris is back on the board, folks. So like we talked about, that fear combination could be good, but does he want to go in to 5 lethal members of the Leftovers? I don't know about that. Cold, though, here, the police officer to force a little bit of damage. The tether, the judgment of the heavens, just barely whiffs there, but a nice bramble patch, and it takes down Mav, the bear, turned into a carpet. Bobber doesn't have Coliseum, so how can he lock on? But locked on is a Cold, and he takes down Bomb Druid once again with the long arm of the law. They're going to be okay with that because they know they're going to secure the prime for 4 members of the squad.
now it's a matter of getting out without an exit. Lobber drops the Coliseum onto the Narbash. Narbash is no more, but Lobber has an actual hair of HP. They have to walk away. Jay, Mercy, and Bryce sitting in the back of the pit. Mercy blinks out. Jay, fighting for his life, is going to aerial assault away, but Cold is privy to what's happening, and he is just battling and just burns down the ADC, and that is a shutdown for Cold as well. So that is a nice chunk of gold going Cold's way. Nice chunk of gold going Cold's way, and Bry is on the run with no mana, no HP. The boys on DLAB are going to just collapse on him, and he just gets booped. Appy just cleans up and gets a kill. So only one member, the side of Leftovers, has Orb Prime buff now, and this is essentially a free fourth Fang of the game, third Fang going the way of DLAB. So after all of that chaos, actually disaster for Leftovers.
Yeah, it was the ring around the rosy, maybe wasted too much time, and the judgment call not there. Not much Mercy can do. He can't jump into this one, not even attempt for a steal. And there it is. The bonuses to offense and defense for the side of the Krakens. They are just huge now. Dirty, Lobber, and the boys have taken some advantage. Doc, still a couple towers, though, need to be taken down for the side of DLAB. We're seeing the duo lane and the off lane still standing where they have lost the towers on both of those sides.
Those towers are very much the things keeping Leftovers in this game, seeing as that they're down 2 Fangs. But one thing I just wanted to briefly point out, I know some people might be flaming Mercy for not smiting or hunting the mini prime before it transitioned into the big orb prime. They did get knocked back as it transformed. Yeah. So he got knocked back, was not able to use that hunt ability. So very, very unfortunate series of events there for the side of the Leftovers. They would have definitely liked to have that mini prime heading into the orb prime. They likely would not have even pulled the orb prime if they'd gotten the mini prime. Yeah. But after all is said and done, Leftovers need to hit the drawing room again and see what game plan they need to have to weather the storm of this primal blaze and remain in the game. I do want to point out, though, it is over 20 minutes now, so the Bartle Bash is now very much a threat that needs to be worried about from the side of DLAB.
Absolutely. And Doc, I'm seeing a Citadel here as the third item for Mav. Normally we've seen Salvation being the pickup there to give a little extra tank ability. Boris really not known as that team fight option. Going for a Citadel where it means you want to be in the thick of it. I understand if he's trying to be the engaged person, but usually he's the first to die because of that. So maybe the Citadel not getting as much value as a Salvation might. So an interesting item choice here from the Bear.
I think his attempt here is to blow somebody up, and Citadel in a group fight does really help shred some of the enemy armor. So he's just going to be chrono swiping people's life pools just to zero. Cold and Mav here, though, they get colossal blowed by Mercy.
And that forces the blink, and there goes Mav. Maybe the Salvation definitely wouldn't even saved him from that. Is a 5-man collapse on the Bear. The Appy Picker has to use the Make It Rain to escape an R2000 rocket just to stave off the advance there. The long arm of the law clips a couple, but doesn't take anybody down. If you had the Vanquisher, maybe it would have. Oh, but the Bear, he got sniffed out on that one, Doc, and taken down. Creates all the space in the world, though, Doc. It was just a dangling piece of jerky to allow Lobber to take this tower.
Yeah, Leftovers. They were up a man in that engagement. They should have won that fight much more convincingly than just killing the Boris. To your point, though, Mercy 100% dies there if Cold has Vanquisher, but instead he did opt for Nixian, Sky Splitter, and I don't remember the third item, but regardless, he does not have Vanquisher right now, so the Assassinate or Execute function is not on the line yet. But DLAB, they're not too sad about losing Mav. At this point, Mav is just a meat shield who is just creating this space for Cold. Cold is the real chef in the kitchen right now, and he is cooking everything and everyone. Leftovers have to have an answer to this Murdoch, or else they are just going to find themselves going to a game 3 with their back against the wall.
Doc, I'd actually like to see the item build for Mercy if we do have a chance to switch to that, because I'm seeing Appy with the Caustica. So we know that's an extreme magic pen, but is it even necessary based on what item builds the folks are going to? So next time we see Mercy in the camera, we'll have to take a look at that. It's an interesting third choice, knowing with how quickly these games go. Usually when you hit that item mark, okay, yeah, with the Flux and the Elefrost and things like that. All right, fair enough choice there from Appy to do a little bit of that extra magical damage. Doc, no objectives on the board just yet, so these teams just farming up for that next item spike.
Yeah, they're just farming, they're just setting wards, they're trying to gain some semblance of map control, maybe get a pick that will be a green light to start an objective when they spawn. But to your point about Caustica, it also does percent-based damage based on HP, or HP missing rather, so it's a pretty solid pickup overall. It also gives much needed mana regen to Appy, so he can just keep spamming missiles without having to go back to base. So he's kind of chilling right now, but we can see Leftovers, though. They're collapsing in the mid lane around the Orb Prime pit, and Lauber, though, is all the way in the duo lane for now.
Well, I mean, there's no tower there to push, so maybe he starts the Fang, but it is the Primal Fang, so it's going to be kind of hard for him to solo, that's not known for that Mav, though. He does find one, forces the blink out of Bomb Druid. The long arm, the wrong connects as well. The shield bash into him, and Lauber, he finds his quarry, he puts it down, but a huge crash bang boom. He does have to blink away, though, so he can't get the full duration off. They're going to give it up for now with only losing one. No stack, though, for Lauber. I think that's the most important.
Yeah, Lauber did not have a chance to get a stack there on the Coliseum, I believe. But they're able to effectively win that fight. But, hold that. Leftovers, they're going to try to contest this, even though they're a man down.
Okay, the Orb Prime, though, now in the pocket of DLAB, so they get that little extra magic and physical power to them. But Mercy, he's leading the charge, does get knocked up for just a moment. Bry with the Brambles getting the speed boost. Now, the alarm's called, saying, hey, let's back off. Let's not give anything else. We don't have our Quang for the extra lockdown. Let's live to fight another day.
During every single one of these engagements, Cold has full HP. They are not even, Leftovers are not even touching this guy. He is just getting to free cast. Like, I cannot wait to see what damage taken stats he has at the end of this game, because he is just, I mean, the side of DLAB with the Boris, with Lauber, they are just peeling perfectly. I mean, even Toasty with the Seismic Assault on the Bellica, they're just peeling perfectly for him, letting him just have the game of his life. And now we see this 5th Fang of the game. This is very, very important for DLAB. If they get this, they essentially could wipe Leftovers and end the game. But if Leftovers get this, they're very much back in this game, because it definitely feels like they've fallen behind objective after objective here. They need a window to open. Mercy, though, gets knocked by a Mine and Seismic Assault.
And he's running with his tail between his legs. He scurries back to the rest of his team. Luckily, the Bartle Bash is there to heal him up. And Doc, to your point, there's no really true diver on the side of Leftovers. So who is going to get into the backline and contest Cold? So, yes, his positioning has been supreme, but still there's nobody else to really harry him and make him, make a mistake. So right now, though, both teams posturing around the Primal Fang. There it is. The Coliseum does lock in one. I believe it is the Quang. They are just putting the pressure on, but it is Bry who takes down Mav again in these engagements. That bear, he is just the sacrificial animal for this one. Appy Picker, though, does put in a massive Make It Rain, takes down Mercy. Now the kills are coming through. Cold, uncontested in the backline, takes down Bry. Now the Leftovers, they're on the run. Nothing left in the tank for them. The march gets them to safety, but an engagement won here by DLAB.
Bry did a commendable job there on the side in that fog wall, really poking down Appy Picker while he was flying with the Make It Rain, as well as trying to get some damage. He did actually end up getting damage onto Cold, so Bry, shout out, you did the undoable. Not a terrible fight, but again, DLAB doesn't really care if they lose Mav. Yes, they lose the opportunity to hunt the objective, but he's just a meat sack. Look at this. The DLAB are just doing the 5th Fang of the game without their jungler.
And they know the jungler on the opposite side isn't there. Look at all this poke. The Lauber, just so much damage. This Quang, the R2000 rockets, what? He just deleted, Doc. 70 seconds gone.
70 seconds gone, and that's one less person to contest this Primal Fang. This is going to be the 4th Fang going the way of DLAB. Primal Blaze online. Still about 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half until Orb Prime spawns, but this is a minute and a half for DLAB to use the Primal Blaze to re-secure map priority in the duo and in the off lane. You can see that the waves are shoving into them very heavily, especially in that off lane. I think they just lost that tier 2 tower. So that is a little bit of gold going the way of Leftovers. That is the thing keeping them in this game, is their tower pressure across the outside lanes of the map. But they are just falling apart at these objective fights, just losing people at the wrong time in the wrong place, and The only thing I can think of is maybe Bondrewd. They need to reshift how they approach these team fights and find a way for Bondrewd to get on top of Cold. That's the only thing I can think of.
I agree, Doc, that he has to be the one. Quang can put in so much damage and so much pressure, especially if you try to throw your sword. Even if you don't tether, you try to go into the backline and then use your ultimate, the Fury of the Heavens, to teleport there. And then you're in the backline, you cause some communication issues, right? And that could be enough to give you an advantage. Now the tier 2 tower traded in the off lane here. Lauber, he's feeling like a raid boss. He knows he could take anybody on the map right now.
Yeah, Lauber has been putting on an exceptional show with this Zarus, this hero who we traditionally think, at least in this patch, is pretty weak. But Lauber, he's baiting the boys out. He's leading them into the jungle. Meanwhile, the rest of DLAB are just sitting behind the wall, waiting to ambush any unsuspecting members of the Leftovers. But instead of actually successfully engaging in an ambush, they're walking right into the Orb Prime pit over a ward, though, so the Leftovers know what is happening here.
And Lauber looking like Super Mario, actually just jumping his way. He's leading everybody into the pit. This could be dangerous. They have to get the smite off in time, and they do. But now the fight is really commencing. There it is. The Coliseum drops once again. The fly trap, though, forces the blink, and it's Cold. Who else who comes up with a kill? Mercy just couldn't find his way into that one. Took the right or the wrong angle. Unfortunately, the Bramble patches as well. But Doc, all the ultimates gone for the side of Leftovers. What can they do?
I actually just don't know how the Orb Prime died because Mercy wasn't in the pit, so he did not hunt it. So
it was a steal, Doc. It was a steal.
Yeah. Orb Prime goes away with the Leftovers. They somehow get it. So they have the Orb Prime buff on 4 of their heroes. Well, 3 of their heroes in Narbash spawn. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm losing my mind right now. They do have it on 4 of their heroes right now. So that is great news for the Leftovers. They're able to use this buff and really start controlling the map. But I genuinely have not a single clue because Mercy wasn't in the pit. He didn't hunt it.
Maybe there was like an untamed growth or something, or the Judgment of the Heavens that was able to just get that final tick of damage. Or somebody had a red buff or something. I don't know. Chat, let us know if you saw that. We want to see who was able to steal that one and give them the credit for it. But right now, Doc, that puts DLAB on the back foot because their Primal Blaze, it's gone. They have to wait to make their next move.
They have to play the game slow down, wait for that next Fang to spawn. They are still very much in control of this game and very capable of wiping Leftovers, even with the Orb Prime buff on them. And Bondrewd, though, he might be a victim here. He's getting hunted out by Mav, who misses.
He does, and so does the mine as well. Is not able to boop. So shifty Bondrewd can be, almost looking like Tekken Kid out there pressing all the right buttons. Appy forced to blink now, and into the backline goes Lauber, but he is locked up, and the Ursa impact there as well. He got the Colossal Blow onto the bear and not the Gladiator. There is a nice plasma grenade from downtown, and down goes Mercy, but down goes Mav. Cold coming up. He has Mercy's number. There must be something between those two. The long arm of the law barely clips onto Bartle Dew. He's able to make it out alive. Once again, the toes touch between these squads. 1 die apiece.
Somebody's touching somebody's toes for sure. I mean, both junglers going down means that this objective, when it spawns, is 50-50. Appy gets double tethered with by Bondrewd, but Bondrewd just gets melted by this Murdoch, who is so stinking strong right now. I mean, it was an equal engagement after both junglers fell, but Bondrewd, thinking too much of himself, underestimating Cold's Murdoch, just gets eviscerated and sent back to base. However, this does open a little window for the Leftovers. They're able to get a little bit more of that tower gold that's been keeping them in this game thus far by claiming that tier 1 tower mid lane for the first, or finally, in this game at 35 minutes into the game. So that map has finally opened up for them. They do have map vision, but that's 40 seconds without their 5th and only 10 seconds without DLAB's 5th.
Doc, Cold is now full item bailed. You do not want to go up against this guy, especially with Buckshot and the armor shred that it does now in the 1.4 patch. So they are nerfing it next week, so this is the last time we'll be seeing it do that much damage. But look how quickly they are shredding this Fangtooth. I don't even think the Leftovers are privy to this. They're trying to run in there as best they can. Toasty doing the bodyguarding work with the Seismic Assault, but there it is. The 6th Fangtooth, the 5th here for DLAB.
DLAB now, they have the Primal Blaze. It likely is going to expire maybe just when Orb Prime spawns, maybe a little bit after. So they're going to have a short window there to win a key fight to get that objective for themselves. But again, as the last 20 minutes of this game has been, Leftovers are very much still on the back foot. And not going to be able to really take a successful team fight, because every time they kill Mav doesn't care. Mav dies, and then Cold kills everybody. Mav actually does not care. He's 8 deaths, and he is just doing so much. Like, he doesn't care.
You know what? I love that, Doc, because I play like Mav. I usually die so much, but I facilitate the team to help, and that is what he is doing, setting up these engagements, and they're focusing down Mercy. They're taking down a 5,000 HP Sevarog first in these fights, and because Cold is just doing so much damage, now the Prime has summoned, and he is calling for both teams to converge, party at Prime's house, and everybody is invited. Mav is the first to step up there, doing a little of that cleanup before the party gets started.
Yeah, this is still very much DLAB's game. They have the control. They still have the Primal Blaze. I can't count, so I think they still have another minute or so on it. You can see the damage Appy's pumping out just by himself to 4 members of the side of Leftovers, but they have Narbash. Narbash is healing them up, but they just keep taking more damage. But the teams are just posturing, and it looks like they are going to make the call to start the objective here for DLAB. What can Bondru do?
It's the pincer movement from Bondru, but they just couldn't find the right way in. A colossal blow onto Toasty, though. He has to blink out and does go down. Jay is able to find him with the aerial assault. There goes the support. Lawver now finally expends the Coliseum, knowing that there's no colossal blow, but he has to back out of it immediately. Mav's able to find one on the back end, though. Diving into the back line he goes, looking for Bry, who puts in the Bramble Patch to escape. The tether on the Lawver is clean to secure at least the escape from Bondru, and Mercy has to Delta split, so he goes the other way. The chase is on in all fronts. A little hair of HP for the Fairy. Cold, if he has the long arm of the law, would be able to use it now. Bry snips him out, takes him down. Well done there from the Bear. 4 gone from the left.
Ooh, that looked so good at the beginning of the fight with the colossal blow batting the target in front of Jay, feeding Jay just a free kill there. Bondru, though, he's not going to be able to really defend here as the creeps with the Orb Prime buff are beating down on his base. Cold, the raid boss, the guy with 12 kills, is just melting everything and anyone that he looks at. DLAB definitively in control, definitively ending it.
Dun-dun-dun-dun! Victory number 2 here for DLAB. They are securing themselves a really good spot in this series, but there is one more to go, folks. This is best of 5 for $1,500. Everything on the line. The predecessor pride here for between these squads as well, Doc. Potentially one more game, maybe even more. We hope so. But to break it down for us, we send it back to the desk. It's Tang and our dog.
What a game 2 between Leftovers and Dirty Lawver and the boys. DLAB yet again securing game number 2, showing that they know how to play the video game. Yeah, you take the heroes we played last match. That doesn't change the fact that they still win and end game 2 with a victory. We definitely saw some signs of life from Leftovers, though. They were able to win team fights, get the takedowns, deal the damage that needs to be done, but ultimately it just wasn't enough. Tang, how exactly did DLAB win this game 2?
I mean, it's kind of crazy because the kill score was pretty much always in favor of Leftovers, right? Like from the beginning, like it felt like the early fights were always Leftover, sort of catching DLAB off guard, but DLAB still getting those objectives early, and also DLAB sort of playing the late game super well, right? Like I think that is one of the storylines that we've had like during pretty much every PCC, right? DLAB, if you get to the team fighting stage, they are just like there's nobody to match them, right? And I think like they had a bit of a slump in that last PCC, but no, they're completely back, right? PCC season 1, PPL season 1, excuse me. Also, like in the regular season, didn't fare too well, right? But now they're fully ramped up, right? After a game like this, they gotta feel so good.
Yep, and it was a little bit different in terms of pacing. It wasn't just this constant bloodbath that we saw from game 1, still nonstop, but the rotations from DLAB and their team chemistry is still quite apparent from how this match played out. Hang, if your name is Leftovers, what needs to change? What are you doing to prevent a 3-0 and finally win a game in the Grand Finals?
It's just so hard to say, because I feel like they had all their tools like on their side to sort of win this game. I think they had a really good composition to scale well into the late game. It's just a bit too lazy, sort of the execution, right? Instead of going in as a unit, there's always one caught off guard, right? Because if I look at these two team comps, I feel like DLAB has such a harder time to actually play these team fights. Like I'm thinking about, like, okay, I'm the Boris. How am I ever gonna get on top of them, right? Like, they have the Narvish to disengage, right? They have like a bunch of tools to make sure that I will never be able to get any of this value. And Math is like, yeah, you're right, but I don't care, because I'm not the protagonist of this fight, right? Instead, it's Cold. Instead, it's Epi. Instead, all of them pushing out like damage after damage, and for Leftovers, just not enough. One more thing, Ardog, sorry, that I need to mention, guys. Like, there was the question about like who stole the Prime.
Yep.
It was actually the Fae with a Mega Cosm tick. So Leftovers getting it super. I'm gonna say lucky, right? Like, of course, you could say it was planned, but like the plan of Fae explodes at like 1.5 or 2k, and then the Mega Cosm tick gets the Prime, and even after that, Leftover not managing to power through and win the game afterwards.
And that's all it takes. Every split-second decision, ability, max range ability, right? Blink. But chat, these teams are showing their passion, and they're demonstrating with their skills that this is why they deserve to be in the Grand Finals. But before we continue on to our potential last game of the day, we're going to take a quick little break.
The reckoning is coming real soon. Doesn't matter what you say. Try to tell you this is my moment. Can't take mine 'cause I own it. Don't you know that I locked and unloaded? You're out of focus. Get ready for the fallout. Can't stop me now. I got no rival. I'll fight my way through the blood and pain game of survival. Anytime or place, watch 'em run away. I got no. I'll be standing on my own. Never gonna take my phone. I got no rival. Watch 'em run away. I got no. I got no rival. Lately, everybody's talking at me, and maybe I should turn it off. Shelter, I know that I've been waiting for some shelter in my heart. Can't control the words I've been saying, filter me out, my mind is just playing. Heart is running wild, got me talking like a child. Fire in my soul, I know I'm just faded. Lifting me up, I know I won't take it. Sparks are running wild, yeah. Got me starting a riot. I'm bringing that fire. Gonna go wild, so I get higher. Got me starting a riot, till we backfire. Go wild, so I'm always getting higher. shelter. I know that I've been waiting for some shelter in my heart. I can't control the words I've been saying, filter me out, my mind is just playing. Heart is running wild, got me talking like a child. Fire in my soul, I know I'm just faded, lifting me up, I know I won't take it. Sparks are running wild, yeah. Got me starting up a riot, I'm bringing that fire. Gonna go wild, so I get higher. Got me starting up a riot, till we backfire. Going wild, so I'm always getting higher.
Welcome back to the PPL. You're watching the Grand Finals best of 5, and it's currently 2-0, favoring DLAB against the Leftovers. We're about to watch the potential last game of the day, and this is what we mentioned earlier during the game breakdown. Anything can happen. Every split-second decision counts. Blink, max range ability is all the difference between a victory and a loss. DLAB is playing phenomenal, and this team has had their fair share of achievements, but so has Leftovers. We still can't count them out, but they gotta feel the pressure, as this might be their last match of the day.
Oh boy, yeah, finals, best of 5, already 2-0. The threat of a sweep is, of course, like pretty dangerous, right? Because it's not only sort of their tournament life on the line, but also it's sort of the bragging rights, right? Like if you get swept in the finals, then oh boy, like I just gotta imagine the chats that are gonna happen afterwards, right? Especially because we do know, right, that some of the Leftovers players, they like to talk big. Like if we think about like, let's say Mercy, for example, right? Like he is very outspoken in how he sees the game and also like how he thinks people perform, including himself, right? So I think if they actually do get swept by DLAB, then I think it is, yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be very spicy. But of course, Leftovers, they're not a team to count out yet whatsoever, right? Like the first 2 games were rough. This second one, I think Leftovers had a few good shots at winning it. In the end, it was DLAB clutching through it, honestly. Like if you're a DLAB fan, you are eating fine tonight.
And this could very well be it. Tang, it's time for the potential last draft of the day. What are you expecting to see?
Honestly, like same bans. I'm expecting, like for Leftovers, you could make the argument that okay, we don't need to ban the Gideon anymore because there's so many construction sites on the map that the Gideon ban is not gonna do too much for us anymore. I think for DLAB, it's proven to them that like okay, the Sarah's offlane, it works really well. The Bellica in the support role, I think that was during the semifinals as well. The Toasty was absolutely smurfing on it. Instead, Leftovers, they just run it back. They're like our game plan doesn't need to be changed. We just need to play better. And honestly, I dig it.
I love it as well. Leftovers, this is just a staple pick and ban all throughout this day, and even the playoffs as a whole. They recognize the value in this mid laner, so they're taking it off the board along with the Aurora. We haven't really seen Aurora in this grand finals at all. We've seen her a couple times, maybe in the semifinals, but Aurora, this is something that you mentioned, or was it Spooky Mars that mentioned? She is able to just really divide and create so much space, and it comes really into play when it comes to taking down objectives.
Yeah, it definitely does. Aurora is just so hard to play into, and as a sort of dive hero, it just makes your life misery, right? Like if you play a Terra, if you play something like maybe Chimera, not as much, right? But a Greystone, something like that, it's just so hard to actually chase after those squishies. As for Leftovers, the next ban is going to be targeted towards Cold, the best performing ADC in the PPL regular season, absolutely pulling like absolute masterclass performances out of his head as well in the playoff stage so far. So good ban coming in. And for the support pick for Leftovers, it is the one and only Bartle Bash.
Classic Bartle Bash. We know how much value there is in the sustain and the heals with this Narbash, and it didn't do so bad, right? We've seen what Toasty was able to do with it. He's a classic staple when it comes to supports. But DLAB, they are opting for the Bellica yet again. I don't think there was a game where I haven't really seen Bellica be on this team, right? Whether that be in in the mid lane role, but this time around, a lot of times when it comes to DLAB, it's always been in Toasty's hands.
And Toast is just so good on it, right? Just going full damage as well. And with the global XP that you get from those early objectives, if you can sort of stack them up quick and early, right? Like your Bellica is suddenly going to one-shot people, even though she is supposed to be in that weaker role that doesn't get as much farm as she would get otherwise, right? Grux also one of those heroes that we've not seen too much of yet, right? Because he has been one of those high priority targets in that banning phase. This time with that Murdoch ban coming in, this one is going to be picked up by DLAB.
Of course, it's going to be the Skylar yet again. If they take away the Murdoch, they're going to take one of the best ADCs in the game right now. That's going to be the Skylar, namely mostly because of her mobility, able to just get up in the air and disengage, get away from team fights, and pair that along with a beefy hero that is the Steel. There's a lot of you're seeing some big bodies coming out from Leftovers. On the other side, though, classic Abby Picker in the mid lane with Howie.
Oh, and he is so scary when he plays that hero. I feel like when he plays it, the displacement mine doesn't have a cooldown. That is sort of like the way he spaces those teamfights as well. Is like whenever somebody's on top of him, he can always use it, right? And at the same time, when he's trying to catch someone out, he is also apparently able to use it. So apparently Omeda has to look at his PC or something, I believe. But no, like both of these teams already showing their hands, right? Because we do have the Steel being picked up for Leftovers and the Narvish. You said it, very tanky team composition. Meanwhile, for Dirty, Lorber and the boys with the Bellica and the Howie being picked up together, we know the Bellica, of course, is not going to be piloted in the mid lane. Most likely, as we said, gonna be in Toasty's hands. And I think for DLAB now, they can also look to get a lot of sort of tank killing heroes. And with Countess's new passive that does deal true damage on consecutive abilities hit, that is one of those champions that DLAB really wants to have.
There wasn't a lot of success when it comes to piloting Countess today in the playoffs, whether it be the semifinals or in the grand finals in general. But curious to see how Dirty Lobber and the boys will actually be able to make this work. As we see the draft completed over on the Leftover side, you're seeing a lot of AoE damage from the Gadget and as well as a lot of crowd control from the Terra. But the last pick is actually going to be the TB. How do we feel about these drafts so far?
I mean, it's honestly a bit hard to say because for the side of the Leftovers, they don't really have many angles to really pick somebody out too much. I could be wrong, but I feel like the way this composition plays is they just want to control space and just make it misery for anybody for the side of DLAB to walk in. I think on the other side, if the Grux or the Countess ever reaches the backline, then the Skylar, like, okay, you can try to jump, but you can't escape the counters, I think is how it's supposed to go. So I think, again, it's all going to be on those early objectives. Like if you can sort of push that lead forward, if you can secure the first few, if you can get Toasty a lead on that Bellica support so he can one-shot people again, I think DLAB stand a really good chance at completing the sweep. Leftovers, though, they still have all the eggs in the basket as well, right? They can play the game how they want to. I think their draft also works pretty well.
The draft is complete, Tang. Will DLAB continue to turn the tides, or will the Leftovers get their revenge potentially one last time, one more time? Let's give the people what they want. Dirty Lobber and the boys or the Leftovers, take your pick, cast your votes. We're going to take it away to Shadow and Philly B.
Doc, it has been one heck of a series so far between these two titans of the industry. Some good characters coming out this time, Doc. We're seeing the Steel. We're seeing the Gadget TB as well. What do you make of all that?
I mean, somebody in Twitch chat was asking for a cold TB game. So they definitely got what they asked for. Cold, known for his TB in previous patches. This is actually one of the first times I'm seeing TB in the recent, I would even say 1.4 era of patches. But on the side of the Leftovers, you know, Bry, we always talk about how he is a very high skill player, high skill expression. And ordinarily, I would be kind of putting my palm in my face about having a Gadget, having him piloting the Gadget. But in the recent patch with the changes, the hero is very, very much more skill-based than in previous iterations. So I'm actually really excited to see a player of the caliber that behind like Bry playing that hero. This is going to be a little bit of a bloodfest, I can feel, right? We have Grux on the side of DLAB, and then on the side of Leftovers, we've got a Terra and a Steel who just want to be just fighting. So I'm expecting, like, I don't know, maybe around 15 minutes, I'm expecting almost nonstop fighting.
Absolutely, Doc. And, you know, we always say, what's the team fight going to be right now? I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Leftovers here. They have the Shield Slam into the Crash Bang Boom, into the Tesla Dome. On the other side, more of an assassin comp here for DLAB. They're really leaning into that accelerated jungle pace.
Yeah, you always ask me that question. Leftovers, just looking at the draft, the Leftovers definitely have the edge, but it's all predicated on pressing the R buttons at the right time in the right place. And just the way this series has gone so far, DLAB, they haven't changed too much about their draft. I mean, the big difference here being Lauber is not on a big initiator like the Zarus anymore, is now going to be on that assassin Countess. But we've got Mav on the Grux. I think we've seen some Grux support here and there, maybe some Grux off lane. We haven't seen too many Grux jungles, but he's going to be jumping out of fog walls, pulling people across the map with the, you know, this hasn't been updated. On Tuesday, his pull will get fixed a little bit, but as it currently stands, his pull is a little bit crazy right now. But Appy, he's getting ran out here by Mercy. He is going to move away. Mav showing face, might even pull Mercy.
Ooh, the smash and grab does connect the double pane as well. The R2000 rockets, but the steal. So Tanky has to expend the blink, though, Doc. The tables have been turned here in the mid lane. Speaking of steel jungle, I feel like we haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've seen that. It's definitely still very much a thing with the changes to his passive, as well as the cooldowns on some of his spells, improving his clearing speed as well as improving his ability to have an impact in some of the lanes. I mean, Steel inherently is just always going to be a solid pick, but I don't know the last time I saw Mercy play Steel. That's where my biggest concern comes out in this matchup, but they did ban out Aurora. Meanwhile, in the offlane, though, Bondrune and Lauber really limit testing with one another, as we tend to see with these two titans of the offlane.
Doc, I mean, the lore states that Terra is on the hunt for Countess as she killed her master. So this is, you know, a revenge story of the ages, especially with how this one's turning out. When I was playing Countess in the offlane earlier this week, I got owned by a Terra. So let's see if, you know, Lauber can show me really how it's done for all those Countess offlanes out there. But right now, Mav starting the issue early here. They're going for that first fan.
Yeah, this has been the MO of DLAB in the majority of their games, really prioritizing junglers like the Boris, like the Chimera, who can get on these early objectives, like the Grux. They're going to be here. Toasty doing some zoning, and here comes the smash and grab. It does get stopped by the Thunk, so nobody is pulled in, and Bartledew now is running down Toasty. They're going to disconnect from Mav. Toasty might be in danger, but Thunk is on cooldown for another 5 or so seconds, so they do make the call to just back off, reset, go about your lives. You get nothing for it. DLAB now up 1 Fangtooth to 0, and they're looking to continue the tempo that they've had in the last 2 games, just winning objectives, winning fights. Leftovers, they have a big hill to climb, not just in this game, but just mentally. After losing 2 games in a row, it is a really challenging task to take a deep breath and reset and come back and approach this game like it's the first of the series with that fresh mentality. So Leftovers has a lot of work ahead of them, physically and mentally.
Absolutely, Doc, and that's what makes you a professional. Can you have your back against the wall and keep your mental solid, keep your focus astute as the plate goes down there in the middle? Both of these teams, Doc, have been here before. The Leftovers, they won their series for the PCC 10. Going to Game 5, they know what it takes to win a grueling set in the game of Predecessor. So let's see if they can do the impossible and go for the reverse sweep. Right now, the invade coming in for Mav. The smash and grab, nicely dodged there from Mercy, but he is on the back foot. There goes the crush. Puts him up into the air. Lauber with the feast, but not much to get against the steel he's made of mostly metal. He does get taken down, though. However, the Eventide does claim him first blood. Lauber.
Ugh, that is not a great start for Mercy. And we've been seeing he's been kind of struggling in these very first, I don't know, like 7-8 minutes of these games. He just seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, getting absolutely bullied. It's a mixture of that paired with the fact that DLAB has done their homework.
Yes.
They know, they are inside Mercy's head. They know where he's going to be before he goes there. Just the fact that Lauber and Mav, specifically Mav, he's the one calling those shots, and Lauber is just a weapon weapon at his disposal, coming from the offlane when he needs them, going into the jungle, and they have the sustain to dive under tier 1 tower. So if they get anybody low, they're not going to be too upset to dive under a tower with Double Pain, with Blood Siphon, with Feast. You know, they have a lot going on for them for the side of DLAB. So they are definitely feeling quite strong right now, and they're now up first blood on their offlaner in Lauber, who has been, if he hasn't been the MVP of the series so far, he might be a strong contender thus far, and the first blood is on him, so this is going to be a very steep hill here for Leftovers.
Absolutely, Doc. And I think, you know, a lot of times we see, you know, kind of a targeted approach in the lanes, right? Like, oh, let's take down Tekken Kid in the off lane, and we're going to dump a lot of resources. We don't really always see it in the jungle, and that's what we're seeing in this series. Take down Mercy, take down the MVP of PCC 10, right? Make sure he can't get a firm footing in this game, and this is what it looks like when the jungler has the target on their back, though. Right now, the mini prime going down under the might of the Leftovers. It goes on to Mercy, of all people. He goes for the bull rush in, the blink expended there from Happy to reposition. He puts in the slow grenades, the smash and grab onto 3, the make it rain, the salvos from raiding and barraging on the rest of the team, but it is a good knock-up, and Jay claims the Rhino, hunts him to extension. The Tesla Dome decides to get extremely big, and there it is, locked down and loaded. Happy Picker goes back to base, a 2K here. Lauber, though, he is under duress. He gets a thump and a plasma grenade to the face. He gets a hat as well, a fashion statement, but the Vampiress survives the onslaught this time.
Oh, that's impressive. Lauber survives. 5 heroes running at him. All the meanwhile, though, Cold on the Twin Blast, just sitting, chilling, farming, getting some tower plating here. This is going to be the second tower plate. He'll likely get a third before he's in any real danger. But just wanted to correct one thing. Bri got PCC X MVP. I was flamed a lot for saying that Mercy was the MVP, so just wanted to clarify so that you don't get flamed.
Okay, appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, I got you. But that was a great turn of events there for Leftovers. It didn't turn out as ideal as I think they wanted because you saw 5 heroes running at Lauber. He should be dead by all accounts, right? But the bull rush did not connect, and therefore he was able to just get around the corner and then blink to the safety of his tier 1 tower. And the side of Leftovers, they don't have that burst sustain that a Countess and a Grux have, so diving a tier 1 tower is often, many times, not worth it. Meanwhile, we see Leftovers starting the second Fang.
The smash and grab looks to pull, but it is canceled, so nobody just yet. The nice steel wall is there. Von Druid into the back line. He's looking for something. The Fang Tooth does go down this time for the Leftovers. They did start it up, and they did finish it. Mav, he's gruxing all over the place, but he's taking a brunt of the damage. The hypercharge just chunking him down. A ventilate from downtown from Cold. He's able to rocket dash in as well. Mercy, he's the only one remaining as Jay. He says, I'm getting out of here, brother. And now it's Toasty. He thinks he can go toe-to-toe, but doesn't have any mana in the bank. The aerial assault to play a little juke and jive. Whoa, what a shot there. Maybe not one for the kids at home. Happy takes down, and there he goes. It's a bunch of exit kill. Toasty wins the 1v1 there, Doc.
Toasty, I mean, can you call that a real 1v1? It was already low, and Toasty was just getting to the fight at that point. But yes, Jay does fall to Toasty after a while, just showcasing the power of this Bellica in the support role. But that was a 4-for-1 trade. Yes, Leftovers got the objective. Yes, that is better than they've been doing in a majority of their games thus far. But they gave up a lot for it, and it's going to be... There's a lot of work here for the Leftovers that they need to do if they want to prevent that just travesty of a team fight from catching up with them into this mid-game.
Absolutely, and Doc, if this is the potential final game, I mean, we are in for a treat, but the way that it's looking, the Leftovers trying to take this to a game number 4. We have our tried and true rosters here, as you can see the banners so nicely put by Ego in the back. Tedium and I in the sky, as always. A couple plates here falling from both sides, Doc. Only 1 minute left for those plates to be on the board.
Yeah, the clear winner, though, for the tower plating across the map, though, are the duo and offlane for the side of DLAB. So not only did they just have a very successful team fight, not only did they get the first Fang, but they also have several hundred gold just in the form of tower plates across the map. Now, do we know if they picked all of those tower plates up? It's impossible for us to know that information, but we, at least on camera, have seen several get picked up, which is more than have been taken on the side of Leftovers. So DLAB feeling pretty good economically here. Toasty has had some, not Toasty, Cold has had some nice time over in that duo lane to just sit and farm. And as a Twin Blast, that's kind of what you want. You don't do too much in the very, very early game, but enter that mid game, things are very, very strong looking for him.
Doc, speaking of very strong, Lauber 2 levels up there on Bond Druid in the off lane. Countess, one of those snowbally heroes, if she gets up, if she can hit those item timings at the perfect time, can almost seem unstoppable. That's why we've seen her banned a lot here in the 1.4. If she's ahead, that's exactly where she wants to be right now. Lauber doing his dangest to stay there, doing a lot of pressure in that off lane.
Yeah, we can see Mercy controlling the map, just using that sweeper, trying to keep vision as that second mini prime is up. He is looking middle. Appy forced to make it rain, fly away. Bry is actually taking the brunt of the damage here, but Mercy still waiting. Is going to be joined by Mav. Mav coming out of the fog wall, beating on the steal.
Oh, yeah, he's crushing away. The smash and grab, it is good at the Tesla Dome, though, and that's not what a Rhino wants to be. He has to slink away from that engagement, but Doc, just one R2000 rocket in the back of Mercy's head did a ton of damage, so that is something to be on the lookout for. This howitzer is just pumping already here at the 13-minute mark. They move after that engagement right to the mini prime.
Yeah, that is a huge green light for the side of DLAB to go in. Not only is Tesla Dome down, not only did they force the mid laner and the jungler back or out, but they also burned out Shield Slam. Mercy, I don't know who he was aiming for, but he must have had his eyes closed when he pressed the R button, because he was not anywhere. He wasn't even in the same zip code as the nearest enemy. That was a tragic mistake there coming out from Mercy. So he for a solid like 80 seconds or so, he's going to be kind of just farming, just recovering, looking to see how he can make an impact here. But once that Shield Slam is back up, then my eyes are going to be on Mercy again with that huge ultimate potential.
Yeah, that's the big first engage tool to really lock everybody in. But Doc, what I think is most scary is Lauber having that prime buff. They're going to be, I don't think they're going to give up this Fang, or maybe not contest it fully. Oh no, okay, the back does come through from the Countess with a massive wave pushing in that off lane. She feels like she has to be here for this fight with the prime buff on them, though the leftovers are first to it here. Let's see if they can get something done already. Bartle do underdress. You can see he's half health, Doc, after 2 shots there from the R2000 rocket. My goodness, that's an easy target to hit. Cold still doing his day. He's looking like the best farmer. Must have that degree in agriculture, because he doesn't even care what's happening across the map. He's getting those creeps.
I might be a doctor of something, but he is definitely a PhD doctor of farming. But Bartlebash, yeah, he's a very easy target. He gets hit by all of those slow mines, magic reduction is reduced, and then the R2000 just shreds his HP. So he has to be very, very careful. Very perfect with this positioning. Smash and grab, canceled by the thunk, does not connect on anyone. Bartle do, though. He might be in danger here. Cold is here. Cold has joined the fray.
Uh-oh, and that is a scary thing. Here is Mercy. He was kind of locked into place for just a moment. The slow mine's not out there just yet. Matt says, see you later. So he doesn't even look at the explosion. He leaves behind. Yes, Doc, there was a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a tussle, but that gives DLAB the way into the prime pit, so they have the prime or the Fangtooth at their back, so that way they can be the ones to initiate in this engagement. It doesn't matter if you don't get the kills all the time. If you whittle down ultimates and cooldowns and health bars, that's just as good, because you know that you then have the advantage, as they do here now. The Fangtooth just getting pistoled into nothingness, just hack and smash there from the Brux, and there it goes. There's one member locked down. I think it's the Countess. She's able to slink away. Ooh, but the hat finds her, explodes upon her noggin. A nice stasis crest there from Appy. The plasma grenade smacks into the wall, doesn't connect on him this time, but Jay finds the Rhino there, hunts him down once more. Appy, he's running for his little hamster life. Can he get the blast cone? Ooh, barely to the ledge, Doc. 2 go down. The exit kills come through for the leftovers.
Yeah, they got exit kills. It wasn't a total disaster for the leftovers. I think that's better than the majority of the fights we've seen in this series so far. So if you're leftovers, you've got to be a little bit happy with that. You're a little sad, though. You lost the 3rd Fang of the game. So DLAB now has that out-of-combat movement speed bonus. But they did lose their off-laner, who had the mini-prime buff at the start of that engagement, and they lost their jungler. But what I really like about DLAB's strategy in these fights is they put Mav at the back of the pit, and they say, hey, we put you on this jungler who has sustain. We can let you focus on the objective, and you're not going to die to it. while we focus on the team fight, and then you can join when you're ready. And that's something that Leftovers, I feel like, haven't been able to do in any of the compositions that they've drafted with a Sevarog and with a Steel or even with an Aurora. Like, they can't play that same style because they have to commit more resources to killing the objective. Otherwise, Mercy just dies or loses 90% of his HP getting in the objective. So it makes it very challenging to make these fights. So I really like that about DLAB and the way that they've been playing, not just the series, but all of their series today.
Absolutely, and I'm liking the item build here for Mav as we get a little camera action on him with the Berserker Axe and then into the Earthshaker as well for that extra ability damage. So he's really going to be looking for that Crush move to facilitate him to get some of that damage in. We see another skirmish, but Bondruid, he's 2 levels down here on the Vampiress. She shadow slips in, uses the Blade Save, the Feast comes through as well. The full stacks though on the Bondruid. If he has a Highland early, Bob's unstoppable, Doc, but that doesn't even matter. The Vampiress strikes.
I think Bond thought that he was going to be okay, but the bleed ticking out through the duration of that fight, just that pure damage melting him down. The game doesn't care how much HP, how much mana, how much magic resist or physical resist you have, because pure damage goes through all of that. And Countess is very, very good at melting tanks. Like, she loves if you are a tanky boy or tanky girl fighting her. So yeah, Bondruid, the lead that he got with that first blood has continued off the back of the mini prime, off the back of all these fights, and it's showing there in that 1v1 there.
Absolutely, and they moved to the mini prime, and then they can take that mid tower that only had like one leg to stand on. Now they're looking to put some pressure onto the tier 2 here as well. A good seismic assault there, and Brock's just getting battered around. He's taking his hands off his keyboard because he doesn't even have a chance to play. Here's Bondruid now finally with a good initiation. Off the top rope comes Mercy, shield slam down, but here is Mav with the smash and grab, the double pain as well. He is just hacking away at the steel, wants to bend that metal. Bry takes down the offlaner, the big bad lobber sent to the spawn room doors. Now in full retreat here is DLAB as they lost one member, but Bride may have overstepped his bounds here. The smash and grab sucks in Jay. That is the squishy little Skylar. See you later. They'll take that trade every day of the week. The Tesla Dome expended here. Happy, he's looking which way to go. Right now, though, looks like they'll high five and back off. 2 down for DLAB, 1 for the Leftovers.
And just like we saw in game 2, Cold basically at full HP still during the entire engagement. He's just in the perfect place at the perfect time. Toasty, though, might be in danger here. Mercy's gotten on top of him, but Cold stopped his back to try to start pressuring Bry, trying to get counter here, but Toasty does ultimately fall and actually might be in danger here. The security gate locks Cold down, and Mercy is just pummeling him with the shield bash, and they're going to get Cold for free. Cold died from Save Your Friend syndrome there.
Yikes. Oh, tragic misplay from the carry. It's your support, man. I get it. It's like your best friend. You guys play together all the time. You want to try to save him, but maybe the back would have been more beneficial. A fortuitous double kill there in the mid lane. Now Bondruid trying to sneak in a couple of creeps. Appy sniffs him out though. Now off the top rope he goes. Mav is in the vicinity. He has to use the crush to get out of dodge, but he might be locked into place by a nice thunk. He does the smash and grab to maybe get somebody under the tower, but wary to the danger are the Leftovers. They're going to be moving themselves over, Doc, to the 4th Fang. This one a primal, in fact.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a bloodfest here because it is the Primal Fang. So Leftovers, they do not have the resources to start the objective unless they win a team fight. They literally cannot they cannot put any resources into the objective without just sacrificing the entire team fight. Whereas DLAB, they might be able to just commit Mav and Cold to it and then allow the rest of the team to play around the pit, play zoning duty, basically, right? We talked about that sustain. Maybe add Countess, maybe trade out Countess and have Cold doing the poke damage in the tight alleys and tight corridors. But the way these teams fight this objective is really different. We can see DLAB, they're actually running up down the middle here.
Ooh, and the smash and grab connects, forces a blink from Bry. All the while, Lauber was able to push the wave in. They take down the tier 2 tower in the offlane, but another shield slam, an up down from Mercy. I believe in his seismic assault is there to counter it. The ventilate comes through from the side of Cold. He is just pelting in the bullets. A stasis crest used from Appy so he can get the blink off in time. The fight is split here. The salvos of missiles now rain down. They're looking at Mercy once again. He's okay with taking the brunt of the damage for his team. Oh man, nobody goes down in that, but a lot of damage done from either side.
Yeah, a lot of damage, but most of that damage onto Mercy, onto the one person that Leftovers cannot afford to lose before this engagement. Though Bondru does get instantaneously just bursted by Lauber and 4 other heroes after the smash and grab pulls him in, and that he just ceased to exist there.
Doc, that is awkward. There is the feast there to lock a Mercy into place, and Toasty is able to clean him up. Jay now with the aerial assault to escape. Onto the Prime they go.
Yeah, after this fight, DLAB, they're looking to move toward Fangtooth. They are looking to just burn this down. It's going to be their 3rd Fang. That is going to be the bonuses to all their offenses and defenses. That they are just getting this for free because Mercy and Bondrewd fall. Now they're going to rotate over to the Orb Prime here, and most likely look to close this game out with double bubble buff, because after that engagement, scoreboard is 9-9, but they are still very, very far ahead.
Yeah, Doc, they have all that objective gold in their pocket, especially with the tower plates from early on. But for now, going back to base to get some of those well-deserved items, and now they're going to be looking to re-aggress there onto the Prime as well. But still, the Leftovers, they have a couple ultimates in the bank. They have something they can do to contest this. They just have to find the right targets as they're moving in.
Yeah, DLAB, though, they were able to basically commit nothing to that fight in that engagement around the Fangtooth pit because of the pressure that Lauber applied to that offlane. You mentioned it before that entire engagement broke out, that tier 2 tower did fall for the side of Leftovers. And as you can see, their inhibitor in the offlane has taken some damage. So that wave state has been very, very favorable for the side of DLAB. Lauber again setting it, pushing it into them. And now we see the teams posturing around this Orb Prime. The Primal Blaze online, on DLAB, on 5. Leftovers have to be very, very careful here.
Bondrewd can't get caught out again. He's been out of position a number of times in these engagements. You can see he's the only one not grouped up with the rest of the squad. He's got to find his way back in. Lauber is the one who decides to initiate. He shadow slips away, though. Slippery is the Countess. Still Toasty now, taking that front portion, looking to seismic assault somebody down. They could connect on the 2. The Void Bomb as well. The smash and grab jumps. I think Bry just gets sucked right in, has to put in the Tesla Dome as well as the Stasis Crest to keep themselves alive, but Mav doesn't even care. He goes for the Warlord's challenge. He says, I'll take on all comers. Abby Picker from the top takes down Bry, the opposite number there. Another smash and grab doesn't connect. This time Mercy has to expend the up down just to get away. The mid laner falls. A quick and dirty fight from the boys.
The Primal Blaze doing so much damage, and you can see there, Bry, though, he was a victim to what is going to be nerfed on Tuesday, and that is the extra smash and grab range outside of it. He was outside the line. I mean, we need a ref to review the replay on that one, but he did get pulled into a bad place. He did do his best to hold the ground, to drop the Tesla Dome, drop the security gates, to lock down people in the Tesla Dome, but it was not enough. And I mean, the Primal Blaze, man, it is just so strong, especially for a team that has been ahead for the majority of the game. Like, it's so very difficult. Unless you get the perfect pickoff from someone who is drastically out of place, it's very difficult to find a team fight. And Bondrewd, speaking of getting caught out, Lauber might be onto something here.
Yeah, drastically out of place was Bondrewd. I think he could have got the back off there, though. It looks like he was just about, done the teleportation animation, but now he has to take the walk of shame back to the base. Lauber, once again, setting these lanes, Doc. He's looking, has his sight set on that tier 2 tower with only a sliver of health, while the rest of the team puts the pressure onto mid. This is looking dire here for the Leftovers, friend.
They have the Orb Prime buff. They're able to just 1-4 split this. Yeah, they're just easily going to get this tier 2 tower in the left lane. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Leftovers, they're looking to hold this, but I think holding the inhibitor is more so the right call here, because this tower is not long for this world.
Yeah, and they were just maybe trying to bait out a cooldown or two, not get caught out, and so no harm, no foul, right? But this is a foul here. Like those referees, we have to call them in. The inhib immediately blown up, make that 2. There's just the towers are being ransacked here from the side of the Leftovers. They have to find one. The feast, it is able to keep them alive. The smash and grab, though, from Mav doesn't connect. He goes down. There goes the jungler. Will they continue to aggress this, Doc? That is the question.
Appy, he drops the Make It Rain here. Bondrewd is in. The Tesla Dome is not really connecting on the anyone. It is burning the Stasis Appy, but meanwhile, Cold ventilates and melts Mercy in the back line. And Jay also falls. That is all of their damage off the board here, at least for the time being.
2 down here for the Leftovers. The alarms, Doc, are blaring. This could be the final match. DLAB versus the Leftovers. $1,500 on the line. For now, though, DLAB, they play it safe. They're going to look for the next objective. The Fangtooth is online. They have a wave pushing into them on the off lane that they need to set. So the intelligent move here from the side of the veterans.
It is not just intelligent, it is disciplined. Bondrewd trying to chase, trying to stop any backs that he can, but with the enhanced recall from the Orb Prime, he's not able to stop any in that mid lane. All the while, DLAB has totally respawned here, and they are looking to just set up, run straight to this, what is it, 5th Fang of the game, and get that Primal Blaze to end this game. They could have potentially stayed in the mid lane, potentially could have straddled some picks here and there after eliminating Jay from the fight, but they make the disciplined call to play the objective, get the buff, and guarantee the win so that they can guarantee the money.
Absolutely, Doc, but nothing is guaranteed here in Sanctuary. They still have to win 1 or 2 more fights, but that is just the ticket they need. Unstoppable off the board there for the Terra. That is disastrous. She'll be able to be stunned, knocked around, everything. So it's going to be hard pressed for her to make their way into these fights. On the opposite side of the map, though, we see Lawber once again pressing the issue. They want that 3rd inhibitor down. It's now a 4v4 here outside of the Primal Pit. Appy making it rain once again. A blink comes through here from Mav. He's waiting. The Warlord's challenge as well. Bartledew knocks a couple people up the side from the ult to save. The double pain, though, keeps him alive. The smash and grab. Can't connect as he dies. The shield slam. Up and down goes Mercy. And down goes Mav. Jay comes up with the kill. Mercy gets obliterated there as well. Bent out of shape. There is the steal. Bride now has to blink, but a chase there from Lawber. The blade siphon as well. A feast upon the mid laner. See you later, Gadget. Bondrewd, the only one left to tell the tale, but maybe not be long for this world. The boot back into the rest of the team. The blade siphon, and he is just waving. He knows his life is forfeit. Doc, this is the end. Team wipe for DLAB. The most decorated team in Predecessor history does it again. From relegation to salvation, Dirty Lawber and the boys win the Predecessor Premier League.
I mean, this has just been incredible. They have proven that you don't need to be the best of the best at all times. You just have to do the right thing at the right time, and that is play the objectives. Every single thing, every single step forward that this DLAB team has taken in the last 2 days has been because of objective gaming, and they've proven that they are the kings of winning this game. They are just, I mean, they can add a little badge to their shirt because they won another thing. Congratulations, DLAB.
My goodness, the inaugural Predecessor Premier League goes to Dirty Lawber and the boys. Folks, it has been an absolute pleasure from myself and Dr. Shatter to walk you through such a fantastic series, but we have more in store for you. We're going to send it back to our dog and Tang.
Thank you so much, Philly and Dr. Shadow. Congratulations, DLAB. GG's Leftovers. DLAB, you've won by a landslide. 3-0 sweep in this Grand Finals best of 5. It's just so well deserved. They've done so much work to win a championship, but always just falling short in the Grand Finals or the semifinals, just always one win away. We've had you take us in the 3rd games in so many best of 3s. We've seen you take us to 40+ minute games. You've gone through so much roster swaps just to go through these challenges, whether that be in game or IRL, searching for the answer to winning a championship. You've risked dropping out to relegations, but your performance today shows us why you are deserving to be the PPL champions of today. They're coming out on top. That is your PPL Season 1 champions, Toasty, Lawber, Mav, Appy, and Cold. How are we feeling, Tang?
Oh boy, I mean, they definitely deserve this one. I think honestly, like for DLAB, they have won a lot beforehand, right? Now another sort of trophy in the back pocket is obviously really great for them. But I think for DLAB in particular, right, like they were known as the always second team, right, because they reached pretty much every finals in the PCC, but at the finals themselves, they ended up dropping a lot of them. Are still the PCC champions, of course, right, but now in the PPL, there is always the danger, right, that you're going to continue the trend, but instead, like, they just absolutely demolish Leftovers, right? We can try to talk about it, like, in a friendly way, of course, but, like, yeah, this was crazy. Like, Leftovers, the defending PCC champions as well, right? The regular season rank 1 in the PPL, right? Just absolutely get demolished by DLAB.
Their dedication, their resilience is nothing short of inspiring, and every setback was just an opportunity for this team to grow. You guys have accomplished so much together as a team. Your fans are so proud to be part of this journey with you. GG's Leftovers, thank you so much for playing, but it's time to give up that competitive crown to the new kings in town. Before we end this day, we got to thank you, Tang, for being here. I know it's super late for you, and it was truly unexpected, but thank you for joining us here. What are your last words before we say goodbye?
Yeah, of course. Anytime I'm happy to help out in the PPL. A lot of driven guys and girls here doing like a fantastic job with the production. Of course, big shout outs here to Ego as well, and TDM, the beautiful observer, as well as the casting team beforehand. I'm going to say goodbye from my side, but don't go anywhere because the PPL stays here.
That's right. We actually have a little bit of an interview before we hop off of the cast today. And we've got someone joining us today from DLAB before we end this day, and that's none other than Toasty himself.
It's
Toasty,
me.
first off, congratulations. It's been an absolute marathon of a day for you and the team. Thank you for being here. And I can just imagine the atmosphere and what it was like when you guys were in the voice chat when you guys won. But let's start with just how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Yeah, wasn't chill game, casual.
Yeah. Just another day for Toasty.
A day in the office.
That's right. But one of my questions for you is, since the start of this patch, we've seen how much the meta has evolved. For example, Sevrog wasn't that good anymore, and that was one of the heroes that was a part of what made DLAB, because we knew that Lauber is just he is the best Sevrog in the game right now. How has that affected the identity of DLAB, and how did you guys adapt?
Lauber's always going to be the Sevrog guy, but now he's kind of like a Countess guy too. He's expanding his champ pool a little bit at a time. That game we picked Sev because we thought he's not really going to do anything in lane. He's just going to free scale, and it worked out for us in the end.
Yeah. And the thing is, moving forward, though, you guys have been through so much competitive tournaments, PCCs, countless PCCs. You've even been in Fang Booth, if I recall correctly. And you've been a part of this team since the beginning. What's next for you?
I don't know what's happening. Like, win PPL Season 2, PCC 11, go LAN.
Yeah. We're going to be expecting you in LAN. Is that correct?
Oh, I'll probably be there, I think.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, me too. I hope to be there. And it's definitely something special to be a part of, just being surrounded by so many gamers who dedicate so much passion to their game. But I'm just gonna leave the floor open. Is there anything you'd like to say? Maybe it's to Leftovers as a team, all the teams that kind of talk smack at you. What would you like to say now that you're on stage?
I got a few things. Shout out Imports team, the cold callers should have been there. I would have loved to taken out Lake and Outback. You know what I mean? I'm excited that I don't have to listen to Bartledew and Mercy's ego again 24/7. Like, get over it. And the last thing I want to say is that it's been really exciting. I've gotten married, and my wife and I are expecting our first child.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. Wow, that's exciting. When did you find out?
I found a couple weeks ago.
There you
Maybe 3 or
go.
4.
Wow, that's amazing. And you're still going to keep going.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know that you're now going to be beaten by an old man who has a kid.
I love that. Thank you so much, Toasty, for joining us here. Is there anything else before we say goodbye to you?
Barldu lost on Narbash twice. That's it. That's all I got to say.
That's it for your DLAB champion. Thank you so much, Toasty. I say my thanks every time I'm here on broadcast. Thank you for having me, TDM Ego, F6 Shift, Outlawed, RGS Ace, TJ Tang, Philly Shadow, Spooky Mars Ritter, everybody who's been a part of this production. This is R-Dog with the Triple Gs. A big thank you to everybody watching. This is it for now, but it definitely won't be the last. We'll see you next time, only here at the premiere.
I guess you had a place you had to get to. I know your eyes, I know inside the walls you hide behind. And I saw the truth inside the real you. Because I know you're lost when you run away into the same black holes and black mistakes. Taking all my will just to run alone. When are you coming home? Even if the sky does fall, even when they take it all, there's no pain that I won't go through. Even if I have to die for you. And when all the fires burn, when everything is overturned, there's nothing that I won't go through. Even if I have to die for you. There's no pain that I won't go through. Even if I have to die for you. There's no pain that I won't go through. Even if I have to die for you. One day the earth will open wide, and I'll follow you inside. 'Cause the only hell I know is without you. Someday when galaxies collide, we'll be lost on different skies.